Good evening. Right. A little break, a little fresh. I've put the orange filter on, so it looks like I got a tan, even though I didn't get a tan. But we're ready for some D&D. I was going through all the notes. It was a lovely little session last time. A certain witch, a certain wizard, and one big fight. Some people nearly dying, some people not. But the water witch found you. She came down deep into the border forest. Where are we? I can't remember. We're on the border first. Down to Dumbra. As you've been making your way through the border forest, through the Hex Crawl, trying to piece together the parts, follow the breadcrumbs from Jenny's down. As yes, you made your way into Dumbra to find and seek out a witch / turned out to be a wizard who is living or hiding out in Dumbra, who Andriel had been to see, who Jenny had pointed you in the direction of, who is part of this coven, who has some links to Otter's patron. And as you found this this temple, or this I don't know how to describe it, this building, this ruin, that's the word I'm looking for, a ruin, and found it was magically trapped. After poking and prodding, found your way inside, and the patron, one Ileana, a goblin wizard who has been held in or hiding out in this ruin for, it seems like, quite a long time. On asking a few questions, being inside this anti-magic field as she tried to probe to find out why you were here, being very cautious of Otter, knowing and seeing some of the relics of his patron adorned on him in his pat butcher earrings. You had a bit of conversation, but it was rudely interrupted by Scribble and the imminent arrival of the Water Witch, another patron of the Kraken, Warlocks. Although I'm not sure. Have you heard his name? I think you've heard his name from the book, at least. Who came back again, third time's the charm, to do the job, to finish the job, to find the last of the relics, to kill the other patron in Otter, and a fight ensued outside as summons, water weirds, elementals, the dragon, water naga type things, and the witch herself. You all went into battle, slaying in the end the witch as it got close in certain areas. Nearly killed a few of you, but she did die. Otter quickly going to remove the hands and head as Ileana appeared, having sent her frog-like creatures, her salads, to help Faywin when she was down in the fight, and appearing as you all kind of split out to heed you all with a warning that your friend, your party member Otter, was under great stress, that had was going to be was dealing with a being of immense power, and that was a worry to her, and kind of passed on to you the warning and almost the mission to keep an eye on him and to not let him release the Kraken or release his patron if it so persuaded him. She did also say you could stay the evening there, and you would make precautions to ensure Otter was secured, or at least kept away, and was able to be separated from you all and be safe for you to get your rests in that evening. And that was the end. That's where we left off. So you guys were making your way into the ruin that sat on the shore of Dumbra, where I think you had given your weapons away, Otter, if I was correct.
Yeah.
So you were unarmed, and then there was going to be... sorry, the music went loud in my ear and it scared me. And provision was going to be made to hold you firm. So there's magic spells that can happen. There's anti-magic fields. Essentially, you're going to be kept apart for at least the evening where you can't be watched. But for now, you can all make your way into the hideout. We went through the magic, the kind of arcane gate, the trapdoor that opens and let you down into the belly of this ruin. These thick stone walls that encompass a rather modest, probably about 30 or 40 foot square rectangle inside habitation that Ileana has been living in. Inside was also the lizard the lizard folk that you remembered from Lariel's temple, as she has been resting here. But other than Ileana and the lizard folk shaman, there is nobody else in here. A very modest, very mundane looking, humble abode. As she kind of offers you in and make sure that you have some space to rest and start what would be a long rest. So you can start to heal yourself, clean yourself up, prepare yourself in her quarters. As she goes about and talks to, I wrote this damn name, I forget. We're just going to call her Kala because it's easier.
I think it was Callie.
I think it was Callie. I would say Callie or Kala. I don't know what it is. We can go Callie. Let's go Callie then. As Eliana and Callie have a quick message, and then Callie goes off and starts preparing some stuff and bringing you guys just some like what would be like rags and cloths and blankets and just some amenities to help clean yourself up and to provide you some bedding if required. All of which are not rags, but you can see have not been used in a while and very old. Anything that is here, a lot of it is patchwork. A lot of it is probably scavenged and salvaged together. Some of it looks like it's been repaired by somebody as well, as she tries to make it as homely as possible. So as you all sit down, get yourself set, Otto, your weapons have been removed. A small fire with there's a very small chimney stack in one corner of the room is kind of stoked up, and some foods are being cooked. You can see that a lot of what is being stored has been like dried salted fish. There's some meats from obviously animals of the forest. There's a lot of vegetables that are clearly grown around here, and a small like barbecue grill gets set up, and Callie starts cooking off some food for you guys to all enjoy some dinner as Ileana kind of takes her seat in the corner, sits in one corner. You can see where there are like an arrangement of stones and like big slab stones, where obviously something has been either used or has been repurposed from somewhere else in these large flat stones, but they've been arranged in a way that gives her like a corner where she has somewhere to sit and a table, a stone that sits slightly higher up, so where she's sat down kind of cross-legged, that she has a stone in front of her that is raised, and there's a few smaller stones around, almost like she's already sat waiting to hold a small audience in this corner. And she just takes a moment to, looks like going to some kind of meditation as she's waiting for you guys to settle down, waiting for Callie to cook up some food as you're all kind of milling about yourselves. So what would you like to do down here? You can, if you're going to stay here for the evening and go through, I'm quite happy for you to push your long rest buttons now, or you can do some stuff and do it after. If there's spells you want to cast or stuff you want to do beforehand, we can play it by ear. But yeah, you are in a safe space and are going to be able to stay here for and the rest of the day and the evening if you so like. So I'll give you some time with yourselves, but then yeah, it's up to you if you want to ask Ileana questions or hold conversations later on.
How do we want to do the questions? Everyone's probably got some.
Zaga does not.
Arta does not, shockingly. How big is this space that we're in?
About 20 by 20. Sorry, no, that was upstairs. About 30 foot by 40 foot, the whole downstairs square. But you know how to get in and out, so you could go upstairs if you would like and out into the forest.
No, in a corner of the room, in a 10 foot by 10 foot square, I am going to cast a new spell.
Yes.
Temple of the Gods.
Nice.
Cause a temple to shimmer into existence on ground I can see within range. The temple must fit within an unoccupied cube of space up to 120 feet on each side. So I reckon 10 foot by 10 foot. It's just like a little shrine.
Yeah, little shrine.
That's it. That's all.
Nice.
It doesn't do anything.
No, it takes you now to do it.
Doesn't help us. It's technically a safe space.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit in it, and stealing the idea of meditating, I'm going to sit there and meditate because I have no questions to ask.
Nice. It does. It must do something.
Zaga will go outside.
Mm-hmm.
It does lots, but I can decide how it looks and if it's got windows and stuff. Only me and creatures I designate can open or close the door. Creatures can. The temple opposes types of creatures you choose when you cast a spell. If a creature of the chosen type attempts to enter and they fail a charisma saving throw, they can't enter the temple for 24 hours. If I cast it every day for a year, then it's permanent. Mm-hmm. So I can make 120 120 foot by 120 foot temple if I cast it every day for a year. And that is post Arta story done.
Nice. For 1 whole year. He gets the 300 days, forgets one day, and has to start again.
In the corner of this
It's like
room.
a Duolingo.
Underground.
I think maybe if you did it in someone's house, they'll be like, maybe not.
Where it needs
But
to be
yeah, you can do that.
unoccupied.
Nice. So yeah, that takes you
My
now to
land
cast.
As well as this end terrace house.
I like that. You just clear out space in Allhearth and just slowly start casting a temple. No, that's good. So yeah, it takes you now to cast. So yeah, Arta clears a bit of space. You hear him moving some goods out of the way to clear a nice clear 10 foot by 10 foot space in one of the corners of this room. And yeah, away you
Somehow
go.
magically have a broom and no one's quite sure where it's come from.
I mean, there's brooms in the house.
You've had the same broom for 10 years. You've only replaced a handle 4 times and the head 12.
So Arta is a proper trigger.
I'm glad somebody got that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see it coming. And then, Zaggy, you're going to go outside. So you're going out for... Is there anything particularly you want to look for when you're outside? Or do?
No, Zagger has felt some magic stirring within him, has had an idea.
Oh, okay. Nice.
He's
Yeah.
going to spend 10
I bet
minutes...
it's not cool as a corner of the ring temple.
No, no.
Find out.
He's going to spend 10 minutes channeling his power and summon a celestial Pegasus.
Celestial Pegasus, a mighty steed. Nice. Yeah, in a very magical place. Yeah, Zaga disappears outside. 10 minutes into conversation, we'll decide whether we can hear giggles and laughter as Zaga can ride around on a Pegasus. We'll come back to
Yeah,
that.
I'm going to do that for a bit before I sleep.
It's not a hippogriff, though.
It's not quite.
Playing his bagpipes at the same time.
Just in this secret location in Dunbury is fine. What could possibly go wrong? I saw a small dragon riding a horse through the air. Nice. Level 13, new spells, baby. Cool. So you two, yeah. Zaga, you go outside. It's a very peaceful area and it's a very magical area. So yeah, you work on conjuring this Pegasi as a find greater steed. After you are spending an hour, the first hour of these conversations at least, building up this temple in the corner of this room. And the rest of you are free once you've had some
flying
time.
horse is cooler than Arthur's little corner temple thing.
And I was looking, it seems it's just such a strange spell. I suppose it's like at the end of the day, you could just cast it so you could stay in it?
Basically, I picked it to one-up Zaga's tent thing.
Yeah,
That's literally the only reason I picked it.
so it takes. It does look like
the
that.
tiny hut.
The tiny hut, yeah, you get a massive. As long as it's an occupied space, you can just in an hour build a temple that people can't get into.
Are you aware that I can summon a mystical magical mansion there?
You're going to one up each other houses.
I did not know that.
Inside of a
and
temple
now I
is a
still don't
mansion.
know that.
And yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, it stops you from being scribed
the
on. So it's
hallway
quite
with
cool.
all the artwork of Zaga is going to be absolutely immense.
Have all the barrels. It's like, how did you remember it so vividly? It's like, I was stood at the back watching. Anyway, so after get started, Zaga's outside playing with magic, summoning celestial beasts. And the rest of you can see that, yeah, Ileana has, after a while, there is a small kind of kettle pot that boils, and Callie serves some tea up to that table. And as you kind of are looking around waiting for the right moment, you kind of notice Callie's kind of look at you and nods towards the tea, and she has set out places as if it was expected that you would be sitting down to ask some questions, to have, to want something or some knowledge from Ileana herself. So she is sat there in this meditative state, but there is a set of small cups, very small, like clay mugs that have just been set out in the 3 remaining chairs that sit at this small table.
I go over to the table. You guys come.
As will I.
She says, fuck off.
Is Otter tied up at this point?
Yeah, am I restrained?
You were talking about doing it. You have no weapons. And when you
I can summon a weapon.
You can summon a weapon. So, I mean, there's not much. It's whether you want to be restrained or not.
If you do, Fabian will hold.
I mean,
the cup up.
he's not going to, but I mean, I'm just saying I could.
Uh-huh.
It's just I don't know whether thematically it'd be better if I was restrained. So
I
I
can
did ask to
give you
be at the
tea.
end of the last session.
It all depends on whether what you think you need. to
Otter
have done.
basically doesn't trust himself with the powers Patron has over him.
Get out the
You
furry
are-
tabaxi handcuffs.
If I'm pretty sure they're already out, and they definitely weren't furry. They were shiny, so very, really robust.
They can be
Um,
both.
We could. I wouldn't know. We could maybe help you get to the table if your hands and feet are restrained.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I could hold the cup up and help you drink.
Yeah, it's all. Oh yeah, he could probably hold it because if his hands are restrained in front of him, Ileana doesn't appear to be worried that at the moment you are there, and she has had the word with the rest of you, so she is not expecting that you two all turn on her in this. The gamble she took with the fight was that you were gonna be peaceful, and with the conversation she had with the rest of you, that if something was to happen, that you would help. So I think that is up to you how you want to, whether you think that will help being restrained or not. But yeah, she's still a fairly powerful wizard in her own right.
I'll have my hands restrained. Just
Cool.
like I say, it doesn't trust himself.
Yep. Nice. So you all take a seat. They are just low polished stones, and this table is just a much larger stone. So she kind of, as you sit, brings you all down to kind of her level and height. You can see that as you sit down on the chairs on these stone like pedestal things, that hers is slightly higher. So as you sit down, where her goblin form would make her a lot smaller at table, she is up a little bit, not quite to your eye height, but not as low as she should have been if she was sitting on a comparably sized stool. As you all sit down, she just kind of says, "Have a drink, please. I'll be with you shortly."
I have a drink.
Do I have to be focusing on my temple the entire hour, or can I get a drink and carry on with my work?
You can get a drink and carry on. Adds the next 5 minutes to the hour, mate.
You get a nice builder's tea while you're building your temple.
Drink some tea and you just hear a bit of the temple falling over. Oh, fuck. It's like a sandcastle. But yes, you can have some tea as well. And it is just a herbal tea. Very refreshing, a little bit of mint in there. Delicious. As you kind of sit and settle down, waiting what feels like quite a long time, but in reality is maybe like a minute to 2 minutes, just kind of looking at each other, looking at her as she doesn't stir. As you can just see her ears kind of twitching slightly as she, after that time comes. As you feel like the tea... Give me insight checks. The three of you that are there. Actually, Arta, probably you've drunk some tea as well.
Incredible. I rolled a nat
16.
one.
Nice.
I now get a +10 to insight. That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. This is Arta when you
13,
drink 30. Nice. Arta, when you drink this, you've had something similar to this before. Callum would have served you something like this before. This is like a the equivalent of like a chamomile tea, like a lavender tea, something that is supposed to just like bring your heart rate down, just almost enforce relaxation on you and calmness. So as you're like building up and you drink it, you definitely recognize the flavor, that the herbs that were used to brew this tea. Fabian, I
That's
think
why you put lemon in it to give it a bit of a kick.
Exactly. They didn't put lemon in it, so it makes you really sleepy, actually. Fabian, you've got so much energy with wanting to ask questions that you kind of don't notice what's going on. I suppose the rest of Von and Otto, with your roles, you would feel it as well, that this time that she's left you to breathe, you can feel it's time that she's left to have you just calm slightly, breathe slightly. You've just had a big fight, especially Otto, you've just had a load of questions running through your mind. Just leaves you with yourself for a bit, just to bring your temperament down. And you can see that she is almost listening out for that moment where she takes a small drink and kind of looks towards you all. The calmness that comes out from her, she kind of looks at you all and just says, "So, where would we like to start?"
We do have questions, Eliana. I hope that's okay.
Yes, that's
I
fine.
think
I will
we all
help you where I can.
Faven looks around. I think we all have things we'd like to know. I guess for me, you knew L'Oreal, and what happened to her, I guess everybody has kind of assumed that what happened was that water witch. Is that what happened? And I look at Callie.
Yeah, you can see that she is like gripping the like spatula she's using on this grill that's cooking this food. As she stares back towards, you can see there's a tension there. As Ileana looks up towards Callie and says, "Yes, we understand it was this descendant that she had found a way of tracking L'Oreal down, and it sounds like it was quite a surprise. Callie here was lucky to get away and did what she could to protect L'Oreal, and I thank you, Callie, for your service. But yes, it does appear that she was an unfortunate casualty on the way to me."
And I'm sure, Callie, you did everything that you could, as I look over and smile sweetly. And Eliana, if you don't mind me asking, why was L'Oreal chosen to help protect? Was she there in the times that you've spoken of before?
Oh, she kind of looks maybe a little surprised. As she like thinks back, you can see her going through, trying to remember like how things came to pass, like a memory that she's not had to think about for a while. She's looks at you and says, "Oh no, dear, no. I am. She is an elder of the Borderlands folk. She is a very sweet soul, and she had some magical potential. Very clearly, she started as maybe a protector, a mother maybe to me, and over time, as the years got away from us, I turned maybe more into a protector for her. But she was just a kind soul who was looking after people and looked after me when I needed somewhere to shelter and hide after the times that came. She was a very, very sweet lady. She was the best of us."
She really was. She was incredibly kind when we first met her, and she took us in, and after we'd had a big fight, similar to yourself, and I'll always be grateful for that. And then I look round at Callie. I appreciate that I'm asking Callie all these questions. When we were at L'Oreal's house, Callie, it seemed that you may have left a note to say that you were looking for Eliana. I was just wondering if maybe that's how, or like why that was left, or who that was left for, if you don't mind me asking.
Yeah, she looks at you a bit maybe perplexed that the questions coming her way. She says that was for my family, for others that would come. We have people that come to the sanctuary to pray, and L'Oreal would take the services. I wanted no one to come. If anyone was to come looking for us and not find us or find us in the state that L'Oreal was in, that they would know what to do, and they would know where we were, and they would know I was safe, and they would know I was going to find someone who was going to help us.
That makes sense. That makes complete sense. And in a way, I'm glad that we found the note as well, so that we knew where to come. So thank you again for that. And then Famin looks, like when a child's about to say something and kind of like looks at their parent as if to be like, is it okay that I'm about to ask this?
After whenever any conversation happens.
Yeah, pretty much. Famin does this to Vumvan and then says, Eliana, Andrielle, she came looking for you, and you said that she was looking for Bryn. Do you... I don't know if you know Jenny. Have we mentioned Jenny to her yet?
No, not seriously, I don't think.
Okay. So we know of a hag. Her name is Jenny. Do I see any recognition in her?
Roll an insight check.
That is a 21.
Yeah, you see when you say the hag, she already starts reacting.
In a bad way. That
no,
girl's such a bitch way.
No, in just a recognition way. I don't think she gives too much away.
Okay, cool. So Jenny, I'd asked Jenny if she knew where Andriel was. We'd met her a few weeks ago, and she said that Andriel was making her way to you. And I know that you said she was looking for Bryn. Do you know what happened to her from here?
To Andriel.
Yes.
She, well, I assume she carried on with her quest. She was another lost soul. She was hell bent on finding the druid Bryn. I had not seen him for months, and even then, I'd only seen him maybe once. I'm not even sure how much we'd spoke. He didn't register high on my radar. So I sent her on her way south to Amberstead, to the nearest settlement. She was asking about what he had been, and the only thing I could remember was the last thing he came in and asked me for, which was where he had stumbled across the ruin here, as he was looking for places of worship and temples and ruins and the gods and the worship places of the borderland folk, the ones that lived here before the forest, and the only place I know of, the only town that I really have interacted with a little is that of Amberstead, and I know they used to have a chapel there. They are not necessarily religious, but I sent her that way the same way I sent him that way when he come poking around my home. So that was the end of our conversation, really. She stayed here. We fed her, so she had some rest. It looked like she'd been travelling for a few days. It looked like she'd been through the wars a little. And once she was fit enough and had a night's rest, she was up at the crack of dawn and off to Amberstead she went.
Faywin nods. The religious before the border forest, and looks to Hayward. To Von Ban.
Mm-hmm. Who is Hayward?
It's because of the forest and the woods. I got confused.
When you met Andriel, was she alone? We saw the boat out by the river, and well, when we last saw her, we sent her off down the river with some merfolk. Question mark?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that what they were?
Yeah, well, they were merfolk. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So,
she was, yes, definitely alone, but she didn't look in great condition. She didn't really tell us much about what had happened, other than that she was on this mission, to find this missing druid Bryn. It was really her sole focus. It was difficult to keep her here. It was just me at the time, and yes, I saw her stumbling around, poking around, looking for clues, and I didn't want her to get trapped by the traps, the ones you've already set off. It's quite the good defense work, but yes, she looked a little lost, and I did what I could. I pointed her in the right direction. I gave her the answers to the questions that I had, and away she went. Apparently, my ruin was marked off on a map that she had of this Bryn's travels, and I did what I could.
So when you say you only met this Bryn once or twice, apart from looking for the religious settlements, did he mention anything about his research on the Death Bloom?
Oh, you see when you say the word Death Bloom as well, she kind of like takes a little breath in. She's like, yes, that's the bit of Bryn that I remember. The first time there was rumours of, things happening in the forest, but things are always happening in this forest. This forest is quite magical. And she kind of looks towards you, notes your heritage, that you are a wood elf. And she was kind of gives you it's almost like it's saying it in a nod that you would understand. Like the forest is a magical place anyway, along with all the magical crap that keeps happening in the forest. And we have druids and rangers that pass through here all the time looking for different things. I don't think even the first time he was here tracking, I really spoke to him. I maybe saw him or heard of him through through Amberstead, and Nonna was one that was interested as well in the movements of the forest and what was happening, but it was harmless. He was tracking this death bloom, this mutated flower, and was wanted to find out how it was affecting the people. We'd not seen any problem from this death bloom, but that was many months ago. The second time is the more memorable one, when he came knocking almost at the door, setting off God knows what traps in his attempt to break in and find out what place of worship this was. And in subduing him, my spells did knock him out in the end. He was fevered. He was adamant that he needed to find, that he had been told that there was a place of worship. There was something. There was some divine power or divine place that he was searching for, and he said that was the key. It was the key to killing the death bloom, to removing the death bloom was held in one of these places of worship. He looked like he hadn't slept for weeks at that point, and was quite gaunt by the time we sent him out. But again, he wouldn't stay. Once he was awake and had questioned and found this was not the place he was looking for, away he went off to the next place. And I think that when I shared that with Andriel, she wasn't. That surprised and panicked her a little bit. That maybe I didn't really think about who she might have been and why she was asking about this person, but that definitely sent her off with a little bit more pace in her mission to find this Bryn. But after that moment with him, I hadn't seen him again. And again, that second meeting was a few months back.
Do you think they could have been in a relationship?
I mean, he's left and run off to the forest, and she's chasing after him. I don't think it's a very good relationship. I did find a letter with a kiss on it, though, straight man.
I knew it. I knew it.
Like a dream, it came to me.
So, you say he seemed quite, fevered, and talk about killing the death bloom. So I guess it was originally the first time you saw him, he was a bit more excited about the research, but now he's panicked about stopping this.
Yes.
Okay. Have you yourself had any real interaction with the death bloom at all?
No, it was. I inquired a little more after seeing this this druid clearly on a path to something. But we've seen the likes of death blooms before. They are plant mutations, and normally they deal with themselves in some way, and the balance of nature comes back round. The only time I was alerted to it was its influence when it started influencing people more. I know that the folks of Amberstead have been struggling with plant life and animal life in the forest surrounding. I very rarely leave what we have here, and I'm fairly self-sufficient. So once I started seeing problems, I retreated back for fear that it was one of the descendants, maybe coming in a new form or guise. But It's not just L'Oreal that I have lost. There was another one of our little group who I believe was, in the end, working with. She was interested in how the movements and the magic and how the Fae was being interacted. I hadn't seen her for such a long time, but yes, there have been people, there have been friends of mine and acquaintances I have in the forest that have clearly been affected in some way by this death bloom in whatever guise it takes. But as to going out myself, I've kept myself to myself, really. Even on hearing, my role and my duty is to a single thing, and I cannot be swayed from that.
That's right. It's probably good that you've retreated back to her as soon as possible, because this does not seem to be any normal death bloom. Far more widespread and seemingly more dangerous than any we've heard of before. So you say you'd lost. You say you'd lost a friend, or do you?
Yeah, there are, as a person of some of power, and I've been living in and around the forest for many generations of normal folks' lifetimes, much beyond that of many, not quite as long as the elves of Allhearth, but I give them for a run for my money. She has a little giggle to herself. But I've seen and lost people along the way, and some of my more enchanted, magical friends have been around with me for a longer period of time, and one of those was a Fae, a lesser Fae hag than your friend Jenny, who I hadn't seen for such a long time, but we had regular touch points, ways of keeping together and just checking in on each other, and I think she, in the end, must have been swayed by this death bloom. She was roaming much wider in the woods, and from what I can make out from the last times I heard her, she really had a passion to what she was trying to do for protecting the forest. But we've known each other for many hundreds of years, and I can't say that I know exactly what was going on. But I haven't heard from her for a few weeks now, and attempts to check in on her have failed, so I can only fear the worst.
I kind of glance at Faven quickly and then glance back.
Faven goes to telepathically say to Von Van, Nonna, but accidentally says it out loud.
My Nonna! She says, yes. Nonna was her name. Did you hear about her from L'Oreal?
No, and I look at Von Van for the nod to go ahead with the story about Andrea and Nonna.
I don't give the nod because I don't think we should say the story.
Okay.
At least not yet.
We've just heard that name in our travels. That she was another hag. We heard of multiple hags.
Roll a deception check.
Fuck. Oh, 21.
Nice.
Bless the dice.
Blessed be the dice gods. She says, yes, no, Nonna was The third. There was a time when we were known as somewhat of a coven. She again giggles to herself. It was like silly the names that people give those that show some power in. I think maybe just the elderly in some instances, but yes, we were thick as thieves at one point in time. But yes, I always had my job.
While this is happening, how far along is my temple?
You've got a good ground layer on it.
Excellent. So I've laid the foundations.
The foundations are definitely in. Yeah, you changed the size of it 2 or 3 times, and now you're settled with this. This is the right size.
I like to think that even though I'm creating it with magic and it's like a spiritual temporary thing that
like Minecraft.
I'm going around. I've got a builder's hat on,
Yeah.
a hard hat on and stuff. I'm like got a.
You got a magical Minecraft hat.
What's that called? Like a spirit level as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going around spirit leveling, checking the foundations and stuff.
Estelton drops a magical stone. Everyone looks around.
Can we talk about something out of character quickly?
No, never. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. I was just gonna with the Nonna thing. I forgot that we killed her.
Mm-hmm. You forgot, or you've got.
No, I forgot. I
You
forgot
did forget.
that we killed her. I was just talking about the fact that she was after Andriel,
Yep.
but Von Van, would you still not want to share that? Because Faerun won't, because
Okay.
you didn't give her the head nod. But obviously, if we say that and then she's like, "Do you know what happened to her?" and then we're like, "I killed her," that could go badly.
Exactly.
Okay, maybe we leave it then, because I've rolled well on deception. I don't think it will happen again. But yeah, just to be clear, I'd forgotten that we'd killed her, which is why I'd even mentioned her at all.
Got one more thing. I'm assuming Otter wants to ask many a question, but produce the letter.
Mm-hmm.
Hand it over to her and see if she recognises possibly the circle or knows of the circle.
No, so she is going. Let me look what she might. No, she reads through. You can see she reads through it with a bit of squinting, and as you're asking about the circle, you can see she kind of reads it once, reads it twice. Yeah, she kind of hands it back to you and says, "I'm sorry, no, this circle I can't say rings any bells for me, but I have been, let's say, a little out of touch with what's going on in civilization for, a few hundred years, maybe. But this is interesting that this letter refers to the Deaf Bloom as a person, as a thinking being. You are letting the Deaf Bloom know is Deaf Blooms that we have seen that are natural beings are creations of nature or of force. They are not to be persuaded, not to be talked to, not to be ordered around. The fact that they are referring to this Deaf Bloom as a being is strange.
Could we all insight her whether she's telling the truth?
Yeah. It's rude, but you can.
I know she's talking so politely as well, and I rolled a nat 1, so it's completely pointless me asking.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. seems to be telling the truth. If she is who she says she is. There's a lot of strange stuff. So she's a goblin. You would know goblins usually live for like 80, 90 years. She reckons she's been alive for hundreds of years. Which is odd. She was called a hag. Is she a hag? I'm not quite sure. But if she is who she says she is, and she has been around for that long, but has been just in hiding, then she maybe wouldn't know what was going on above in Redvant, in all these towns that link and have been living. For some of them, they would have seen generations of people go through in that time.
And did you say last time we played, you said something about when I'd seen her, I would have expected her to be more saggy than she was, but her face was quite Botoxed. Hi, Bonnie.
No, you noticed. There was two. I can't remember if it was you noticed or someone else noticed. There were two things that were noticed. One, that when she was very sprightly when she was outside. If she claims to be that old, and he's a goblin, she doesn't act. Her muscle mass, her bones, her agility is not that matching an old. It's funny, the dog's cute.
Hi, Bonnie.
Happy Senya?
No, so you just gonna found the whole sofa to herself, lazy cow. Yeah, that she is not showing as her ability does not match that. Her physical prowess does not match that of an old goblin. But the second thing was when she went into the anti-magic field, that she seemed to not age like, oh, she becomes a rivelly old peach, but her step hardens, her steps become a little bit more fatigued. She looks like she's feeling the weight of her body more when she was in the anti-magic field versus outside of the anti-magic field.
And you said last time that the artifacts, the magic in the artifacts, were the things keeping her alive for longer.
You did say that last time.
Did I say
I
that
don't know
last
if you said it in character or not, but
I don't think I said it in character.
you did.
But
don't think it was in
I think magic.
It's something magical that does it.
Yeah. When she was in an anti-magic field, she looked weaker than when she was not in an anti-magic field. So you assume there's some magic in play that is. There's in, yeah. That's keeping her awake. That's keeping her young. Bom. In. Okay, we've got both now. Prepare for snoring. Yeah. So you don't know what it is, but she definitely, like now, she seems fine. But yeah, it was just noticing that when there was the anti-magic field was there, that she looked like she had aged a lot in her physical demeanor.
Is it rude to ask a goblin how she's so old? Faywin ponders. Probably.
L'Oreal, because I'm worth it.
Yeah, look where she
L'Oreal
is
was
now.
old. But she was an elf. So she'd lived for a long time.
And she did say that L'Oreal looked after her and then she looked after L'Oreal, which would mean that she has been around for many, many years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everything she's saying is indicating that she is hundreds of years old, which is abnormal for a goblin.
No, I don't think I've got any more questions.
When, just before Otter asks his,
Mm-hmm.
the room that we're in, can you see any like potions or moisturizers or bits and pieces around?
Stuff.
Or is it just sort of dusty, stony?
No, it's well maintained. What exactly are you trying? You can have a general perception check. If there's something specifically you're looking for, then you can investigate for it. If you're looking for creams.
Just that thing about how are you so old, but like, yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think of the fancy equivalent of looking for someone's skincare routine.
You can give me an investigation check.
Oh, I did a perception.
Oh, yeah,
for
either
when
way.
I was, where I was saying. It's the same anyway. 25.
25. As you look around, you can see that she's got an anti-aging machine in the corner. It's crazy. It looks like it's in the future.
Wow. Can I get in real life? Or...
Now, as you look around, it looks very, very. It's not dusty and dirty. Like, this is homely, but like humble. Like, there is the area that they cook, the area that they eat. There is the area where you can see that she sleeps and where there is some bedding made out. There is some space that she doesn't even seem to need to use. Hence, after finding a corner to build a very small temple. It just looks like she has the bare minimum here to survive and to live out a very peaceful, simple life. There's nothing you can see that looks overly or overtly magical. If anything, like, for a creature that is so magical, this whole room looks incredibly mundane.
Okay, cool. I look at Ottar.
Mm-hmm.
Also a way to make sure that the Chocolate Brothers are finished doing what they're doing, so he can concentrate on what he wants to do.
You can hear bagpipes that sound like they're coming from about 60 or 70 feet up in the air. It's really strange. She kind of turns to you and says, "So, descendant."
Yes, you say descendant. What exactly do you mean by that?
That was the name that you... it used to be the name that you all had. The years that have gone by. He's even stopped naming... Yes, there was... I mean, you are not the first. And unfortunately, I don't have to burst your bubble. But there have been many descendants that have come before over the years.
When I was outside, I had this strange sensation. Felt like some sort of memory. It was as if it was me, but not me. I was being attacked by a few people. You were there, which was very strange. With some other people. And it felt like I was being attacked by myself, but not myself. It looked like me, but not me. It was very strange. Why were you there? How were you there?
It's interesting. Yes. Descendants. Maybe that's why he stopped using the term. Maybe gave too much away. There's a reason that only you could be picked. He
stopped using the term. You mean my patron?
Yes. I mean, there have been many iterations, but maybe descendants gave too much away. He has been creating champions for hundreds of years now in this endless fight, this endless struggle and search to be released. He is clearly running out of time, though. As time passes, the descendant line gets weaker and weaker. There cannot be many left now who are strong enough in blood to do what he needs you to do. He has raised many of these descendant champions to try and find me, to try and find the rest of us, to free himself.
But what you are saying is that I'm a descendant of the person attacking me, or him?
Yes,
if
I mean,
my memory.
your the vision.
Why or how would he choose descendant to be from somebody who was attacking him?
Well, you're she'll I suppose. How much of him do you understand?
At this point, I don't know how much I've actually revealed to the group. I can't actually remember. I go over sort of how I became aboard the ship and the mutiny that saw me be thrown overboard. And then him calling to me or summoning me, however it went down.
Yeah.
I go through that whole story. And then there's honestly, I don't know that much. I just, it was a choice. I either died or I took his offer to serve as for his wishes and live. At that time, I didn't know what it was he wanted.
I don't blame you there. Survival is key, and it's interesting that he is only able to. The line is, well, hopefully, we believe the line is so weak now that he can only make these bargains, make these champions, call upon your descendants when you are in dire circumstances, when you are at death's door. He used to be able to call on people before they were near drowning. So you're lucky and unlucky in one sense. Had you never fallen off that ship, you never would have found out. You never would have been called upon, I assume. So I suppose it depends how you look at things. You wouldn't be here right now doing these things you are without being thrown to your death.
Well, it wasn't up until this point today that, in a way, I guess I felt blessed. He gave me life, he gave me power, and all he wanted was me to collect things for him.
She looks, as you say that as well, her our eyes kind of not closed, but hone in on you, straight stare, eyeball to eyeball. She's like, that's not only what he wants. The collection of these artifacts are for one thing and one thing only, to be the end of his imprisonment, for the release of him into the world, back into the material plane. That cannot happen. You will not come out well from that. As a descendant, you are a tool for him to release himself back into the world, and all he promises come with grave consequences. And you can see she's like almost like gripping the cup a little bit too much.
So, who exactly is he, and how do you know so much about him? And as I asked before, you were in my vision. How is that possible? To be there in that time.
She kind of pauses for a second and says, well, there was a time long ago, there was a great war, a great conflict that was happening. But alongside that, there were great powers moving. With war comes an instability, and in instability there are beings that choose to take advantage of those scenarios. Your patron is one of those such creatures, a creature of demigod status, an unkillable being of pure evil, and a mission was undertaken to imprison is the best way. There is no way to kill per se a creature of that power, of that nature, a being that was created somewhere along the lines by the gods for some reason and has now been left for us to deal with. A group was called together. One such of those group was of celestial descent. I believe, looking at you, that may be the one you descend from. And we were sent to imprison the beast. And if what you are seeing is yourself attacking yourself, then you are seeing the projection from that of the beast, that of the Kraken. As we fought and pushed back the creature into its lair, into its den deep in the water, and using a gifted artifact of great power, performed a spell to bind, to hold firm the creature within its lair, to imprison it and hide it from the world for as long as we had lived, until the memory of the creature had disappeared, until nobody could remember anything of this creature, and it would be lost to time itself. And
I mean, no offense, but you are a goblin, correct? And surely you... Well, goblins don't tend to live this long. How is this possible?
And you are a pirate that was thrown overboard that can now fire magic from his hands. Not all of us are who we appear on the surface.
So it seems.
There was great magic involved, and that magic, much like yourself, can seem like a curse at times.
Can these artifacts that you say is some sort of key to him? I found missives from the other champion that we killed outside, saying that the conch was some sort of key. The very same conch that L'Oreal gave to my friend over here.
Yes.
Do you have any more information why that would be the key? Or why these artifacts haven't been destroyed already?
The artifacts... we have tried to destroy the artifacts. We did what we could. I did what I could once the sealing had happened and we were on our way back. Our fate was sealed at that point. The artifact that we had used could never be found, whilst it essentially was the key to the lock. It needed to be destroyed, and an artifact of that power cannot just be destroyed. It's too powerful to be destroyed by anyone here on the mortal plane. So the decision was made to break it apart, to do what we could to remove the individual elements, to weaken the power of the artifact, and to scatter those pieces, to have them sit with members of those parties, to be held, to be hidden, and for us to wait out the time, wait out the bloodline, the thinning of descendants, the time for memory to pass, and for the beast to be locked away forever. That was our curse. And it was always a risk, but each of us took to our own ways. I took an artifact, and I hid an artifact. And I have been the custodian of the hiding place of an artifact for the time since the day after the Kraken was sealed until today.
I am no saint, as
Evidently.
but nor do I wish death and destruction upon this world. Otherwise, I would not be doing this on this quest that I am now. But as I'm sure you're aware, I am tied to this patron. Is there any way out of that?
Only you really know whether there is a way out. There is a chance over the latter years. There have been far fewer attempts from the descendants to find the artifacts, to collect them. Not many have ever brought together as many as you have at this time. I have a feeling that time is running out. That the bloodline is getting so dissipated, so thin, that descendants are going to be harder and harder to find. And the fact that you could only be called upon in near death maybe proves that point for us. The time is coming when he will no longer be able to call on people. There are only a few of you left, which gives you a great responsibility, but also means that his power is weakest with you than it has been with any of the descendants before. So maybe there is a hope. Maybe there is a way to break free, but your powers will be gone. A pact. You are fueled by his energy. I can sense it in you.
If what you say is true, then you must take these artifacts from me. I cannot... I find it hard to not do as he asks, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But if he is as evil as you say he is, and these artifacts are as powerful as you say they are, if I was to hold on to more of them, I would guess his power over me would be stronger. And as I have asked to be restrained now, I don't know if I could trust myself if I had them to not do as he asks. Such is his will. So if to stop this manifestation of him coming true, then you must take these from me while I am restrained and no ability for magic in this field. If I lose my power, then so be it.
She looks kind of back at you, like stares, kind of like into you, like through you almost. She's like, his resolve is clearly weak. To even have the ability to digest some things shows that. She's like, I can hold on to the artifacts potentially, but leaving them here with me creates an even greater risk. The idea of splitting the artifacts is that they were scattered, that they were not kept together, that the risk was minimal. By handing them to me, I will have to find new bearers of the artifacts, new volunteers to scatter and hide these artifacts of great power. But I should not keep them together with myself here. That creates too much of a risk.
I understand that. Is there no others you know of that could bear this responsibility?
It's been many, many hundreds of years. Our time is coming to an end. We were hoping that this would be the end. I was almost looking forward to not having to protect these things for much longer. But let me think. There may be something we can do.
That's pretty much it. It just goes back to contemplation.
Mm-hmm. Cool. She takes another sip of her tea and then kind of says to you, it's been quite a day. One of the more exciting ones. I think I shall take my leave and I shall see you bright and early in the morning. She says, because you're in the underground piece now, she looks to you three and says, I've asked Callie to make up a bed in the room upstairs, if you do not mind. I think maybe safest if Otter here stays in the anti-magic field for the evening.
Of course, I will spend part of the night up there with him.
Nice. So she kind of steps up, says, I hope you rest well. I'll do what I can in the morning to send you on your way with whatever I can to help with this mission you are on. As she stands up, Kelly comes over to kind of see her, and they disappear off. She serves you up another pot of tea and goes off to one of the where the room is a one big square. Like part of it has had like almost rooms like dividers put in with some of these spare stones, and you can see she disappears into there, pulls a big curtain across one of these rooms, and Ileana goes to rest for the evening.
Faerun isn't sure if she's being listened to, which is the only reason she's speaking telepathically.
Mm-hmm.
So Vomvan, she looks down at her ring, which has got Jeff in it. Do you think we should have asked about Vex?
I'll definitely say back. She didn't recognise anything about the circle, so I don't think she'll know.
She didn't seem to, did she? I rolled a 1. Maybe I'll ask Jeff of the circle. But he will get the ump because I haven't actually spoken to him. And then I'm just like, hey, by the way, what's the circle? Lol.
We word it a bit nicer than that, you know.
I wonder if maybe in the morning I might ask her about souls in rings. Do you think that's a bad idea?
Depends if you want to release Jeff, I suppose.
Well, can Jeff hear me at all times? Is it just that he can speak to me at all times?
Yeah.
So I can be talking about him and he's not like...
I think you can.
hello?
Yeah, I think you can pretty much control when you.
He shivers like someone's walking on his grave.
Yeah.
He's got like a shiver in his back.
I feel like you were talking about me. Left me with that bastard weasel.
So you can telepathically he can telepathically communicate with me because I'm wearing it.
Mm-hmm.
A wearer can't prevent this telepathic communication, so he could be talking to me, but he can't hear me talking.
Yeah, he could just be screaming at you the entire time.
Which he probably would be because I've just completely ignored him. So.
Just imagining that's just all you got in your head the entire time.
I'm just going to make this noise until you get me out. Bye!
Okay. I might ask her in the morning because I feel like Jeff might have information around the circle.
Mm-hmm.
And I... At least then if I go to him and I'm like, oh, she said that you can do this. Then... So just FYI for Ileana.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's gonna get some rest. Nice. Arta finishes his wonderful temple. You see that Arta's been working away feverishly, and as you guys finish the conversation, turn around and kind of contemplate what to do. The Temple of Gods is completed. A very small,
I'm sweating, even
10 by
though
10 foot.
There is no discernible reason for me to be sweating. I'd like to say, because there's an altar at one end, so I've got the altar, and then I want to say one wall is 2 walls are the normal walls of the corner, and then the other 2 walls are like, do I want to look cool or do I want to look stupid? We'll go brutalist architecture.
Nice.
How tall is it?
10 foot.
10 foot. It's a very small building. It's like a dollhouse.
It's a cube.
It's like a shed.
Yeah, basically, it's a shed, and it basically just looks like it's made of breeze blocks. But it's got an altar in it. And now I'm going to go sit inside and meditate for a bit. Before I do that, kind of wiping my brow and removing my hard hat, I'm going to shout over to everyone and be like, do you need anything from me?
Where did you get a hard hat? What is a hard hat?
It was never a real thing. It just like disappeared. It wasn't a real thing. It was just like conjured as part of the building process.
Part of the
It was
temple.
part of the temple.
Okay, did you have a high vis as well?
Yeah.
It was a bright light. Shone in a dim light for 5 foot.
Faywin was very jealous. She just didn't realise it because she was so engrossed in her conversation.
No. Was though.
But yeah, it's just this like basically concrete.
It's such
Yeah,
a
in the corner.
weird spell.
I don't really understand what it's needed for or what it's used for.
It
but I
really
like the
is
idea.
just like a. It is just another like traveling hut. It seems. In addition, you can stop certain creatures getting in. Any creatures that
but
try
it's
to
like
get
Fae
in.
or Celestial and stuff. It's not
Yeah.
even like humans. Or
Oh, yeah,
anything.
Celestials, Elementals, Face Fiends are undead. Then they have to roll checks. In addition, sensors created by divination spells can't appear inside. So you can't be scryed on inside the temple. So you're free from scrying. And whenever you gain hit points from a spell, you gain additional hit points equal to your wisdom modifier. So you add additional points to healing. But so you've got to set it up, then do all your cure wound spells, and then what? Take a short rest. How long does it last for? 24 hours. It's mental. Temple's made from opaque material that forces ethereal plane, thus blocking.
Can't be
ethereal
dispelled,
Yeah, nothing can physically
but a
pass through
disintegrate
temple's
spell will
exterior.
destroy it.
And then no effect on it, and disintegrate spell destroys the temple industry. Crazy. I have no idea.
It's literally.
Real
I
weird.
picked it as a flare piece.
Yeah. I can see how
It's
they'd be
much more cooler flare than a Pegasus.
if you're like not able to in a thingy in a what's the word I'm looking for? Rest in a safe location. I can see how it could be useful, but it is a bright,
the
shining
hour-
temple, so it's not like it's hidden.
Taking an hour as well, but I suppose
Yeah.
it can't be teleported into. It can't.
Yeah. You can't be scribed
got,
on.
like-
It can be hidden in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
Anyway, that was confusing.
But yeah, it's just a flare piece for once the campaign's over, provided Arta survives. Which, who knows at this point. And also him trying to get back in contact with his god. That was kind of the other logic as well, because it's obviously it's a temple to Mahatma.
Yep. Yeah.
Has
Nice.
Zaga fallen off his Pegasus yet?
Yeah, Zaga, as this has been going on, you have been riding and flying with a Pegasus.
Yes.
You once you've cast it though, that Pegasus exists. It's celestial. Does it disappear if it goes into an anti-magic field?
If it goes into an anti-magic field, I have no idea.
You said John did.
If it's celestial,
Yeah,
can you actually
good job.
ride it?
Yeah.
Does it just fall through it?
No.
Celestial isn't like
Isn't-
spiritual
Kind of like
weapon.
Ghost. Yeah. So I think it's fine.
Because that'd be quite funny. He goes to get on it. So it's whoops.
Yeah.
I mean, it exists until I end the spell and dismiss it, or it dies.
Yeah. So I think it should be fine. 'Cause
But
it's-
it can be It can be like ages away from me. I can communicate
Yeah,
with it telepathically
you can
from
leave it wherever you
within
want.
a mile.
Yeah.
Can it be dispelled?
That's what I was looking at. I don't think you'd have to counterspell it, but it technically is a spell. Can you?
So it's fine, just
For now,
dispel
we'll say
magic.
no. But yeah, I was just trying to find out. I'm literally gonna get on Reddit. Can you dispel magic at Great Steed? Because if you can, that'd be funny when I make you fall from 90 foot in the air.
But you can't do it from a temple. Can't do it to a temple.
Can't do it to a temple. Sweet. So, Zaga, yeah, you conjure this this steed. You bring this Pegasus into life, and as you are like getting attuned to it, you have this bond. It has. It's the same one you summon every time. So it's an actual creature summoned from the plane of Celestia. So it has a name and personality, and will remember what you do to it and how you treat it. But it's here now forever. So as you go through, and then you realise that this is a summon spell, but isn't like polymorph or something else where something's going to change. You realise after the hour that this creature is with you now until you either decide to dismiss it or it dies. So what would you like to do with the Pegasus? As you've had your fun flying around and bonding with are you naming the Pegasus?
I think I'm just going to call it horse.
Horse. Sterling name, sir.
Does it do celestial poops?
It does no poops.
May I ask a question
Glitter.
that's not poop related? When you say it's pulled from the celestial plane into this plane, does that mean that horse could have like a little family and it's just gone?
Yeah, fully just been dragged away from its family.
And then it could die
Goes back to the celestial
as a
plane.
corpse?
No,
Oh, can it
because
speak?
when it dies, it's just like poof, goes back to its plane of existence, and it's summoned again. The same horse comes back.
Okay, so it can only die in this plane, not in its home plane with its family.
Yeah.
So like the mummy celestial horse isn't going to think that this one's running off. Would the other horses know that it's being summoned to another plane?
I don't even know. Probably.
Unless Mummy Horse thinks he's cheating and
Well,
kills him in
this
his
is my
own plane.
concern.
Mummy
also, if
horse.
he's-
Mummy horse thinks he's gone to go get cigarettes.
And then
Also,
just
if
Sorry,
he's,
back.
milk.
like, in-
Milk.
If he's in a group, like what happens to time in that celestial plane?
Carries on. What do you mean if he's in a group?
Well, if he's in a group with other Pegasuses,
They're in the plane of like they're celestial beings. They don't live normal lives, baby. They're out there just living their best lives. They don't abide by the same rules. He probably quite enjoys coming over to the real world just to dick around.
You've been seeing that dragon again, haven't you?
Real world.
The material plane.
Yeah, I'm just gonna tie the thing up outside and then maybe see if I can get it like a carrot or something.
Yeah.
From downstairs.
As you go to
Does it have a voice? Does it speak? I really want it to have
does.
like a voice.
it
would be
speaks
really dismissive.
telepathically though, doesn't it?
Ah.
Yeah.
It can communicate with me telepathically. It can understand a language of my choosing.
As you go to tie it up, he looks down at you and says, "I do not need to be tied up, but I will
I
take
don't
the
think
carrot."
it can talk. I don't think it
Fully
can.
can.
Talk.
That's what's talking in your head.
Oh, it can.
How's it communicating with you if it's not talking in your head?
Nays.
In that case, I'm going to say, "Shut up!" and tie it up.
A carrot. Bring me 2
Yeah, you get
carrots.
your damn carrot. Shut up!
If you're going to tie me up, I'll have 2 carrots then.
You demanding fucking Pegasus. I go downstairs to try and fetch it. A
Nice.
carrot.
Nice. You can find a carrot, like a small one.
I bring it back the carrot.
Callie's like, I've got any of these carrots, and you're like, I'll take the smallest one, thank you. Carrots are smaller on this plane than they used to be.
I ignore the chatty Pegasus.
I've got Jeff and a chatty Pegasus now. Wake up! It's time to go out. Stop tying me up. Funny, he just gets eaten by a crocodile.
And
Nice.
it can telepathically communicate with you within a mile.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, are you awake yet? I'm bored.
You're just going to keep him as a giant
bored.
watchdog.
When do I go home? Yeah. Nice. The horse, the Pegasi, is outside, tied up, eating a carrot. As you return down to see that, one of the rooms, there's a curtain that's been pulled over as Ileana has gone, taken herself to rest. There is a bed, so as you come in from the upstairs, you can see that Callie has set up a bed in the anti-magic chamber up top. And as you make your way downstairs, you then can see that Arthur is showing off his new temple that he's built in the middle of someone's house, or the corner of someone's house. But you are, able to settle down, find yourself some space to rest for the evening and take some sleep and long rests. Otto, you will still be able to take a long rest, but you'll just be upstairs in an anti-magic field. What are you doing with rests, watches, or the like?
I don't need any watches because I am in an impenetrable, apart from certain creatures, thing.
Yep. Which creature did you decide couldn't go in, just in case?
It says one or multiple, so I'm going to select all of them.
Oh wow, okay.
Can we board the door?
So the horse can't go in.
Well, I suppose you technically can, yeah, but I can also. No, it's not a concentration, yeah. But it is also vaguely see-through,
Reckon,
I think,
yeah.
is what I get.
So, but it says you
okay.
can't pass for anything. Yeah.
Magic lock.
You can arcane lock in
Choose
his
one or
temple.
more of the following, so I'm going to choose everything.
Okay. So the
Is
I'm
John
also going to make it so
the
I'm the
Pegasus
only
can't
one
go
who
in.
can
What's John?
I think he's Fae.
Is he fair or is he
Okay,
celestial?
we'll allow
Yeah.
Fae. We'll allow Fae.
Okay.
Is he a small? It says small beast. It doesn't say.
It says it on your
So this-
on your feet. I think it says because you've changed it.
So I imagine this is like Arthur being a small child making a pillow for it.
But it's a nice, well-made temple. Like he can actually make legit cool temples. It's just funny that you could also lock him in by shutting the front door. Like being in the porta potty and be like, I'm safe in here, and you're just like, but what if I just block the door from the outside? You're like, I didn't think about that.
You magically summon a primal beast.
Oh, no. So a primal beast is from the plane of beasts. I think it's called the plane of beasts. It's called something like that.
Does that mean that he's from a plane like the Pegasus and I just keep plucking him out of his
Yeah.
other world?
There's a whole plane of existence that is just all beast creatures. It's weird.
Oh my god, John.
There's lots of weird in between planes.
Taking him away from his family all this time.
Yeah,
No, I'm his only family. He hates it then.
you are now.
Take away from his family and get him to swoop in front of you and say what's bad for you.
Thanks for taking the
He
hit
goes
again.
home to his plane. He's like,
You're
oh,
a monster.
You are.
she's done it again.
Oh, you never
What a
guess
day.
what happened this time? She, for no reason, just dragged me in front of her. Nice. Nice.
Does Saga tell us that he's got a Pegasus outside when he comes in to
I
sleep?
think he hasn't said anything thus far. There was just a horse with wings tied up outside.
So with the door, 'cause is it still the kind of see-through door? that
Yeah,
looks
it's the
like
fake
solid
door.
building from the outside.
It can be. There's a spell that can be cast to create the wall of stone that pulls it across. So Callie can shut the door if you would like, but it is just a illusion, a very good illusion. It's
Well,
probably a
yeah,
bit cold.
I guess while keeping watch, and I can stay inside and be able to look out through
Yeah.
the illusion.
Yeah, they wouldn't normally use the wall of stone to pull it across. They would just leave it there because it's such a high level illusion that you have to pretty much walk into it to see it.
We'll swap Avon, man.
Nice. Very interesting. Cool. So you settle down to sleep. I need a quick wee-wee, so let's take a quick pee break. You can push your long rest buttons, and then we will pick up where we are. The dogs are asleep. Yeah. Lovely. So, you settle down to sleep. The door is open. You are out on watch. Von, you're doing the first watch.
Yeah.
Can you give me a perception check, please? Dog, this is not appropriate.
That is a 17.
17. You keeping an eye on Otter and on the outside. You can see it's cool up here. It's quite nice that Otter is looking restless. Almost looks like he's really sweaty. Like, it's very, very glisteningly moist is Otter as he's there. But outside, seems like a very peaceful night out in the forest. You can hear the sound that's traveling across of certain animal noises and bits come across, but nothing that sounds too sinister, nothing that sounds overly close. As outside seems a lot more peaceful than what's going on indoors as you kind of, as you're trying to enjoy the nature, kind of getting stopped by Otter, tossing and turning in the night. Are you switching over at the halfway point, the 4-hour point?
I think Von wanted to talk to Otter.
Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, I'll let Otter get a rest. That's fine. We'll talk in the morning.
Just wake him up so he doesn't get a long rest.
Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping? Are you sleeping?
Are you awake yet?
What about now?
Why so wet? Why so
Are we there
sweaty?
yet? Are we there yet?
While I am on my watch,
Yep.
can I? I'm trying to think how I do it. Like with the when I use the psionics on the woman, the voices in my head from that. I guess kind of go back over it because whether it was it just screaming that I was hearing or whether it was it.
As you think back, you felt like you heard the internal scream of the water witch as she died. Like, it was so loud in your ears. It was like she was inside your brain screaming as the killing blow was landed.
And I haven't had any other voices talking to me. Now I'm back in the forest.
Now you're back in the forest. No, nothing that sits out. I think if you were to sit and... Give me a wisdom saving throw.
25.
As you sit in without the buzz in an anti-magic field, so you're kind of stripped back from your magical equipment, weapons, your ability to like some of your druidic powers, you're almost left with just the parasite stuff, like the feeling of you're able to very in an anti-magic field more easily denote between what is magical power, what am I channeling through druidic power or magical item versus this extra power that I have that you think is affecting your body and your blood. Because the magic has been stripped away, is dulled down by the anti-magic field, you find it way easier to kind of be in tune with that power, feel where that power is more prominent. And I think at those points, in the darkness of and the peace of the night, you very faintly feel like you can just hear a whisper here or there. Nothing that's like sinister or screaming, just an odd like an echo almost, an echo of a thought or an echo of a word, an echo of a conversation, just very slightly in the back of your mind, but very hard to pick up, and only because you're in this like calm area that you can really hone into it.
Okay.
Kill this dog. So yeah, you spend some time with that. But yeah, as you take time to look at you can see again after using powers that your armor you're bitten is creeping up. Or I would say like almost all of your arm up to your shoulder now has some form of that purple coloration. Some of it darker than others, and you can see the veins are slightly in that more deeper purple color on that arm. But it doesn't look like it's changed a huge amount since. But you know that calling on this power is calling on and has been slowly changing the coloration. And as you kind of like take a moment to spend some time looking, you can see how much of your like one side of your body, one arm is lost to the other one. The two side by side are distinctly different colors. Sweet. Fabian, as you wake up from your short rest and start making your way upstairs to do a switchover to go and find Von Van, you catch creeping up the stairs in front of you, Ileana, as she is kind of at the top of that runway looking at kind of Otter asleep and looking to the side to see if anyone's there. You just kind of sneak up behind her. She hears you and turns around. She goes, I was just going up to see how your friend was getting on.
Can I insight her, please?
Yep.
Oh, it's only a 10.
Yeah, she looks like she's telling the truth.
Oh.
You look like you caught her, and she was like, "Oh shit!" But
okay, I'm so sorry to startle you. Myself and Bonvan, whenever we sleep anywhere, we tend to take watches, just a habit, and with everything going on. It's been about 4 hours, so I've had enough rest, and I'm going down to relieve him of his watch.
oh, well, I mean, I can take the next watch if you would like.
No, it's okay. Honestly, I could do with a little bit of peace, and after everything that's happened with Otter, I'd feel more comfortable being there.
Mm-hmm.
We can sit together if you like.
Yes, let's sit together for a little while. As she kind of
Sure.
takes away back upstairs follows upstairs into the to the field. As Von, you see Ileana and Faywin both appear at the top of the stairs.
Morning, Von. Or good night, I should say.
Yeah, middle of the
I
night.
was just coming up and Eliana, she was going to come down and check on Otter, so I said, how we do the whole watch thing, and she said that she was going to do it, and I said, well, we could do it together.
Okay. Well, say he's had nothing to worry about with him so far, and outside as well, so...
Gosh, he looks sweaty. As Fabian sniffs, yeah.
He's away from all of his stuff, isn't he? He's probably just...
Are his feet restrained at this point?
I think just his hands.
I think you left them restrained.
I think it was just his hands would have been, but I don't think his feet would have been. No one's going to carry him upstairs.
I hope he's not a kicker.
Do I have my artifact still, or did they take them off me?
Ooh, is there a chair?
Yeah,
down
I think
there?
you still
'Cause
would have.
we can carry him on a chair. That would be
Could
easier.
carry him on a chair. He's already upstairs now, so it's fine. No, I think you've still got your stuff. I don't think anything if you had elected to try and you need to have them on your person, but you don't have to be wearing them because you haven't been attuned to them the whole time. So if you decided to take them off and put in your bag, they would be with you in your bag, but your stuff hadn't been taken off you.
Right.
I think the anti-magic field was deemed the safest way of just dulling everything that you could do to try and affect. Again, if you try and attack her without anti-magic field, I think she feels like she'll probably be able to kill you. Is the feeling you get. As much as you're like, hey, I'm pretty dangerous, she's like, don't worry about it.
Did we say that John would vanish in the anti-magic field? I think we did, didn't we? And he would stay outside of it.
I think we said we weren't sure if he would or not, so you didn't want to risk it. But I think as a creature summoned from the plane, he's not a summon, so he's actually a real creature from the plane of beasts, and I think he's fine.
Okay,
But
cool.
you can leave him on watch if you want. Well, I mean, if you had have left him on watch, he would have seen the Pegasus. So.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not sending him out.
Oh, okay.
I was just wondering if I leave him upstairs.
She will sit down. Sit down with you as you both get settled, and just kind of amble make some conversation. She's like, well, it's quite difficult to sleep sometimes, on busy days like this after all this excitement. I haven't got up and had to flex my muscles in a while. So, I always struggle with letting the adrenaline rush out. How about yourselves? You both only need the 4 hours. You elves are lucky.
Yes, I've had 4 and I feel refreshed and ready for the next day. John doesn't even need sleep, and I point to John, but he is quite lazy for a summoned beast. John sits like on a banister by the stairs.
Okay.
So he's still around, but not right there.
You both give me insight checks.
God, oh shit. 13. One bad.
Oh, am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah, you haven't gone yet.
Insight. That's 18.
18. With a 13, I don't think you get much. With an 18, you can see that Ileana is a little... Shifty is the wrong word, but there's something odd as she's sat with you having this conversation, making weird, very polite, random conversation. You can't quite put your finger on what it is, but there's something strange. She's acting a little bit off from the way she was acting earlier, but you can't quite put your finger on what it is. As she kind of is like, Von Van, are you just leaving Fabian and myself? Yes.
I'm in a dilemma out of character now because I've already clicked the long rest button.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad I went first.
But now I feel a little bit kind of edgy about So how do I redact that?
It's fine. If you pause, she will see that you've paused and looked at her slightly. Can you both give me wisdom saving throws?
So it begins.
16.
A dirty 20.
She casts suggestion and suggests that she can take the rest. Don't worry about it. Go down and get some more rest. Faywin, you failed the save. So you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Von, you hear the words, and with a dirty 20, you just pass. As she looks to you, and you kind of go to move and then stop and look back at her, and she's like, ah. As Faywin, you get up and just start walking down the stairs.
Good night, everybody.
She looks to you, Von, and says, hi. Well, I need to have a conversation with your friend, and I think it might be best if we're not all here for it, but it seems you are a little more shrewd. Will you stay?
I think it'll be fine if I'm here for this conversation as well.
Okay. So, and she steps towards you, and you see as she steps towards you, she's wearing what looks like a nightgown, but then with almost a Jedi robe over the top. She's got layers and layers and layers. She looks like a curtain of a thing. She looks more
I used to have a
dressed.
dressing gown like that. It was like a dressing gown with a hood.
With a hood. She looks more Jedi than she does anything else, but with layers and layers and layers all over her. There's big Yoda vibes going on. But as she steps forward towards you, she opens up one of the flap of the overcoat that she has on, the one that's going to keep her warm, and you can see nestled into the side is like a what looks like a gold glimmering pole. You can see the top of it, and it runs down back behind her side as she just opens up and says, I need to talk to your friend here about this, and I'm not sure how it's going to go. I'll be honest with you because, that's all we have left. If he cannot trust himself the way he believes so, he may have to die. And she pauses and looks at you, Von. Yes. He is, I believe, one of the last of the descendants. My time here is not long. There are not many more that can come. There is a chance that he could be strong enough to wield and hold the power, but he has collected too many of the artifacts to be unsure. And if, after our conversation, I still do not believe he has the power to wield, unfortunately, there is only one other option. You must understand.
So, you will give him the artifact if he passes this test effectively, knowing that he will be able to control it.
There.
If we just left and you keep hold of the artifact, what happens then?
There will be more. More will always come for the artifact, and my time is nearly up. And you can see as you're having this conversation, she steps sideways into the anti-magic field. And you see, as she drops in, without all the rest of the crowd, you see again just how, as you're this close to her, you're having this intense conversation, just how weak she looks inside. And she says, and then steps back out again and says, this artifact is the only thing keeping me in this world, and I've bed it for too long. Once I'm gone, I need to be sure that the artifacts, that the beast cannot be released, and there is a chance that this week into the bloodline, as she looks towards Otter, that he might be just strong enough to fight off and wield the power or break the pact. If that's the case, then There is no need to hide the artifacts anymore. If one can break the pact whilst wielding the power, it's over. And you can see there's like a hope in her eyes. It's like, we've been hiding for hundreds of years. And if I'm wrong, well, like I say, there's two options. He wields the power or he must die.
I mean, this... I guess this is a decision that only he can make. If he wants to do this test, I will go wake him.
You cannot say the extent of this test. You should not be here for this. If he knows, his patron will control. His patron will do anything to keep him kicking and screaming alive here. He must feel that he has the power to control this. He must make the decision.
I would just wake him and say you wish to talk.
And she, as you walk over to wake him, she kind of follows up behind, sits about 15 foot away, sits on the floor cross-legged, and pulls out the artifact and lays it across her knees. And it was like deep down wrapped, not like wrapped round, but like the way that it was angled, it's like storing a broom in your like sleeve as she pulls out and lays out in front of her this almost golden looking trident.
Okay.
You wake up, Otter.
Yeah.
Otter, as you get woken up, you wake and as you kind of almost get a little startled, you kind of like spit out a little bit of water that's there. And there's like a weird, almost like a sea water taste. You feel like, oh, you've been drinking, and you look as you. Kind of a few things hit you straight away. One, that you are incredibly sweaty where you've been sat. It's not overly warm here. Two, you've been woken up in the middle of the night and your arms still bound. And then three, your eyes lock in straight away as you see Ileana sat cross-legged in front of you with this gold trident across her lap.
What is this?
And she says... I think actually she'll look towards you, Von, and gesture for you kind of to like hand up to stay where you are. So you are within like 5 foot of Otter.
Okay.
So you're closer. So you're like not between them, but you are closer to him than you are to her. You are close enough to jump if something needed to happen. I think now you're here, she's going to use you.
I will telepathically say to her, do you want me to unbind him?
She'll say back no. I think deep down you know exactly what this is.
Oh, when I said what's this, it's more
Oh.
like why are you here?
Oh, well, okay. You should be better with your words, Otter. She's like, I've been thinking about what you've said and been thinking about the situation at large. There are many ways we can look into your link, descendant, and whether maybe is a way to help you. But I need you to come on a journey with me. Not physically, mentally.
Okay.
She
Still half asleep, confused.
Yeah. Cool. She will lift up which way around will she do it? She will lift up the artifact slightly in her hands, and she says, This is what you are looking for. This is what he desires. As you feel, as your like eyes kind of focus in, as you wake up slightly, your eyes get the zoom in, get the vision, focus up on the item. you hear like deep down, almost like gurgling up through you. You're like, yes, take it. As you feel it like burgling from behind as she kind of holds her hand up. You can feel it burbling up, and it feels like it's gurgling. It's like sick. The feeling of it being deep in the back of your throat, trying to come up, but there is something stopping it coming up and out of your mouth. There's something that you are like on a precipice of being held back. Whether you're holding it back or she's holding it back, you're not sure, but you can feel it, but like right underneath, like your mouth, your saliva is pouring out, and you feel like you just want to puke up this feeling.
I was gonna say, I say out loud no, but if I'm feeling that in my throat, I think I'd sort of shake my head as a no, side to side kind of thing. Yeah.
As you go to say no, you almost like have to catch the thing, like you're about to puke your insides up. As she says, okay. So, there's a chance that this feeling, you're feeling this tear, this torn fracture inside of you, may be enough for us to create a split, something wide enough to pull you away from the power and give you back some freedom. She lifts the trident up towards you and this goes to hold it out. And as she holds it out, you feel the involuntary like pull to just reach out and grab it. Von, as you see Otter like lurch up and like almost just go to jump forward with his hands bound. As you do so, your eyes fill with black ink as you and just fall sideways, slam down onto the ground sideways, and are just passed out. She looks. As she like has it held out, pulls it back towards her, and looks towards you, Von, and says, "We won't be a moment." As her eyes roll white as she falls, much more gracefully, down beside her. In the room now, Von, you're just left with Otter, eyes blacked out, laying down, but is breathing, and Ileana, who is kind of to the side, slightly fell, but she is gripping this trident as they both lay peacefully. Otter, you go back. You've had a few of these kind of dream vision pieces before, but this one is moving on from where you were before. There, you almost see two simultaneous visions. You see them like your left eye and your right eye are watching two things. In the middle, they blur over and are almost the same, but so different at the same time. In one, on your left side, you see that you are drowning. You can feel the drowning of water, but then as you are moving, as your left arm moves and you try and pull yourself and it splashes up towards your face, you can see it's not water, it's dark, it's black, it's ink. And there are tentacles that are flowing and slapping around the water, and your left side is filled with this view of deep black ink and tentacles, and this feeling again like you are drowning as you drowned that first time. In your right eye, you can barely see due to the burning starlight, the burning sunlight, the flame that is licking across the whole of this side. The two of them blaring together. One side you feel like you're drowning, the other you feel like you're being blinded as you have this pull of, as you concentrate in on the feeling, once you kind of acclimatize to the feel of the heat and the burning, there's a peace within it. There's a control within it. There is something in the fiery light that feels peaceful and like self-control versus the drowning of the other side. It's almost, you feel like the light is helping you stop from falling under, from drowning under on these sides, as the two dreams, just the two visions, just keep simultaneously blurring into each other until they merge, and then you black out as your eyes come to. As Von, for you, it was probably about a minute before Otter kind of wakes up and starts coughing, as Ileana wakes up at the same time, takes the trident, just pulls it round to her side, and looks down at you, Otter, and says, "What did you see?"
I described to her. I saw the one side, the black inky. Felt like I was drowning. The other side, the brightest light you could ever imagine. Like a warmth like I was on the deck of a ship again, with the sun on my face. It certainly felt a lot better than it did drowning.
And then she looks at you, as she takes it in, almost straight away replies, "And how does that make you feel? Which side draws you in this moment?"
I don't like drowning. I like the feel of the sun on my face. I would definitely prefer that over the drowning feeling.
Vaughn, give me an insight.
That's the side that draws me.
Vaughn, give me an insight check as she looks up towards you.
17.
17. You see, as she looks up towards you, you read very quickly just what would be the opposite of an attack, like a pause. You can see that there's a calmness, there's a tension that releases from her. She looks to you, it's almost like a nod of like, okay, this is okay. And then looks back towards Otter as she steps forward to kind of like help you up, leaving the trident on the side, as she sits you just on the floor, so you can sit almost face to face with her. This is good, Otter. There is a chance that your celestial blood is remained potent, remained stronger than that of the pull of this beast. There is a chance that you could fight back, could break away. There is no releasing yourself fully. There is no killing this beast, but there is release. There is leaving him imprisoned and ensuring he stays locked away forever, freeing yourself. It's a slim chance, but the light burns bright in you. She reaches back and says, "We just need to make sure." And she pulls the trident round and almost like takes the point and points it right towards, just holds it out, not super aggressive, but kind of jaunts out towards as the middle spike just comes under your chin. As you again feel, as this voice rattles up in front of you, and you almost like are frozen in sight. As your hands go to move, your eyes blacken again. Can you give me 2 saving throws? One is a charisma saving throw, which will represent the side of Ink and Kraken, and one is the wisdom saving throw, which will represent the celestial starlight.
I have a higher charisma. I'll do it on D&D Beyond. Saving throw, you said?
Yep.
What's a nat 1 for charisma? 10.
Nice.
18 for wisdom.
Cool. As you black out this trident thrust towards you, almost the fear of attack, but the Kraken inside, the beast inside, telling you to take and steal, the clash in your mind knocks you back out. As you... cool. As you land back, Vaughn, you see almost Otter fall straight back onto his head. His head, crack into the stonework that's there. But Otter, as you land, you land into sand. As you look up into the bright blue sky, into the light that gets brighter and brighter. And as you look to turn to shield your eyes, you see a figure coming towards you, a figure that looks like yourself, that's reaching out. as they are reaching out towards you, can see that what they are doing when they're reaching out towards you is just holding down the inky black sea that sits below. You are on a beach. You are on the shore of a beach, and as you try and make out what is going on, this figure that looks like you is suppressing this ink that is lapping at your feet, is holding this back. Is there anything you'd like to do whilst on this beach? Even if it's just, doesn't have to be checks, doesn't have to be anything, but I'm just giving you an opportunity if you wanted to try and spot anything.
So just repeat that. So this figure come towards me.
It's almost like they're coming out. They are the light that is blinding you. What you thought was the sun looked like someone is reaching out towards you, but as you look out and see that it's not a hand out, it's a hand down, and that hand you can see is suppressing and holding back this sea of inky black oil that is trying to lap up at your feet.
I want to get up and move away from the oil that's trying to get to me.
Nice.
While still looking up towards this, what seemed like a light hand.
Nice. You you scramble back on the sand as this laps up, as the hand is there, and as that the being kind of comes closer down towards you. The closer they get, the more in size they feel. You realize that this is not someone reaching out, but this is a being as large as the sky reaching down as their hand hits the sand and drags back the inky black water that is trying to catch you. As they get close, the light blinds up into your eyes as you almost flashbang back, and you're back in the room as you're down again. As she looks towards you, as Von, you see Otter hit the deck. It looks like he hurts himself, takes a bit of damage as he comes up. As he comes up and his eyes light, you can see a dim glow, something almost celestial, divine in nature, even within this anti-magic field, just glitters off him ever so slightly, like a bless spell or like the remnants of a healing spell. There's a little glimmer, and for a moment, as Otter's eyes come back, they come back with like a gold radiance before he blinks as they go back to his normal coloured eyes. She kind of holds onto this, looks towards you, Von, and then back towards you, Otto, as you sit up, and says, "Again, this time, what did you see?"
Again, I described the scene, but I witnessed.
She's like, "You are strong. The descendant, the celestial side of you is stronger than we can hope. If this is what you really want, if this is, you are willing to take this fight, you are willing to fight back against this beast, you will have to undergo many of these challenges, many of these mental challenges, and some the light will win and some the dark will win. But as long as you do not give up, there's a chance you can break this pact." As she holds out the trident towards you, she's like, "Do you accept?"
You're asking me to be the guardian of these artifacts. Is that what you're asking me now? I want to keep the darkness at bay.
I believe you are the one. We need somebody to take on. You can hold the power of multiple artifacts and still manage to fight back descendants, to have hope that there is a different way of running, and you may be the last chance we have of passing this on to somebody who has the power to do so. My time is coming to an end. My power is waning. I believe in what we've seen now, that you have a chance. It'll be a tough fight, and wherever I can provide support, I will be here to support. But if you believe you can do it, Otter.
What will this mean for you, though, if you say your life is intertwined with these artifacts?
She just smiles and says, I've had a good run.
You sure?
She holds out.
I tentatively hold out my hand,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for her to place it into my hand rather than take it from her.
Yeah, you can see that where you are, you almost have that feel of, I would say it's the feeling of, have you ever played that the knife game? Where you stab the...
Yeah.
That feeling of like you're holding your hand out, but you desperately want to... It's like the opposite. You desperately are trying to put your hand out and retract it at the same time. You're in this like, I don't want to put my hand here, but I don't want to pull it back. I've got to stay still. So you're almost, your fingers are trembling slightly as she leans out and just rolls the trident into your hand. As you grasp it, you feel it's dulled. It's an anti-magic field. So you don't feel an immediate hit of any like actual magical power. It's not like, whoa, the power of Grayskull. But you feel the weight of the weapon, and there's something in holding it, this trident, that feels like something you have held before, that is a weapon you have wielded before. You have never seen it that you know of, but that it feels so comfortable to, and almost as soon as you feel the grip and you pull it up, you've got the balance of it, you've got the weight of it, you know exactly how to hold and wield this trident. It immediately, it's like something deep inside of you kind of feels like it unlocks. You've remembered something here. As you hold and kind of almost Poseidon style pull it out to the side of you. She says, you do look a lot like him.
Like who? You knew? Well, you said you knew somebody of descent.
Oh, yes.
So somebody who was
there.
Was not one of his descendants.
No, one of the descendants of us. One of the descendants of those that sealed him away. Something happened in the ceiling that bound mine and the one you descend from, and others, to this creature, inexplicably, for all of our time. Somehow our descendants have been cursed to be called upon by this creature to try and free him. We are linked. And you are linked to maybe the bravest of all of us. The strongest of all of us, maybe. And you look a lot like him.
That's comforting, I guess. That's something. And I know I look at Von, and as I know my friends here will keep me right as I go on this journey.
I nod.
Nice. She, as she stands up with that given away, you can see that she has to she does the old man out of the chair. She stands up from the floor where she was sat. You can see that she struggles a little bit with the standing, and says, "Let's just hope we all have enough strength, and we all believe." She kind of looks towards you. Otter looks towards you, Von, and just says, "Well, maybe we should get some more rest. Good night." And just turns and walks back downstairs.
Good night.
As she walks away, Von, as you turn back, you've just seen Otter pass out twice, and it's now just been left with this essentially golden looking trident. Definitely not gold, because it would be weak if it was gold, but it looks golden, or plated at least, in a golden-esque material.
How are you feeling, Otter?
Like shit. It's been emotional. And I'm a little confused. But a little light, a little like my old self, I guess, is the best way to put it.
You can fight this. I know you got this in you.
I wouldn't have thought so before, but whatever journey she took me on, Seems to have awoken something in me. Hopefully for the better. I need some more rest.
You get some rest.
Nice. Yeah, you are absolutely whacked. So you had 4 hours sleep, Otter, but then you just essentially passed out twice and went through it in a serious amount of mental strain. It's almost like you passed out due to intense pain. That was what kicked you into those visions and then pulled you back out, and then you've had the same one again. So it feels like you've almost died twice in the past 5 minutes. But yeah, as you rest, you have hold of this trident, and the next 4 hours you get are probably the most peaceful sleep you've had in as long as you can remember. Definitely before since the accident, since the drowning, that there's a quietness in your mind. There is a relief. There is like a control and a peace that you feel as you complete the rest of your long rest. Von, you need to get your 4 hours. Faywin's gone down and gone back to sleep, so it's up to you whether you just go down and get your rest or you wake her up and explain what's happened. Ileana's already gone downstairs and gone to sleep.
I think I'll wake her up, just in case.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, explain and rest again my sleep.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So as you sleep now, out of character, so Otter, you are now in a going through a state of fracture. We're calling it. So there'll be certain times when I will ask you for a fracture roll or test or check, whatever you want to call it, and depending on the result of that first die, you will go again into this fight between the dark and the light, the charisma saving throws and the wisdom saving throws, and based on win, lose, or draw, will depend on an outcome at that time. And then a cumulative win, losses, or draws is you moving towards self-control or losing control, and your ability to break a pact or not break a pact or find a way to transfer the pact. Once you get to the point you're in enough control, we can talk about what it means from there, but you are in this state now of fracture where you will be challenged on rolls and wisdom saving throws and charisma saving throws to try and pull those two parts, create that gap between the two, and your decision to try and push and sit in more of the fracture, but your patron will be fighting back, and that's what that's going to represent. So that was the first one. And obviously there's called magic items, but we'll go for that after. Nice. So you all take your rest. Von, you said you were waking up Faywin?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you wake up Faywin, let her know that she was suggested, that Ileana cast a suggestion spell on her, and she went back to sleep.
Why would you do that to me? I thought we were becoming friends.
Don't take it personally. It was for a good reason.
Are you going to tell me the reason before you go to sleep?
I'll hint at what it's about. Not the full
I don't need the full thing, but anything I should be looking out for, now you're sending me down to watch.
Other than Otter seeing more at peace than he has been in a long time, I think he can be fine.
Right then.
Cool. As you go up to watch, you can see that Otter now has a golden trident. What?
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, tucked under his bed, he's sleeping with it.
Did we know that it was a trident?
I don't think Otter ever went through what all the different artifacts were.
No.
Just that you were looking for certain artifacts, and you guys were like, "Cool, we're just looking for artifacts."
Okay, cool. I'm guessing that I could assume though, because Von Van has hinted to it, and now he's got a giant fort.
Yeah, he's not supposed to have any weapons. Von Van's gone downstairs, and he's upstairs with his hands bound, but he's got hold of a trident. It seems a bit weird.
I will say that Ileana has entrusted him with it. He hasn't taken it off.
Right. Suddenly she's disappeared. You've gone to bed, and he's got a giant bloody trident.
Everything's fine in my books. Sweet.
And I'll just keep watch then.
Cool. So yeah, you keep watch for the rest of the time. We won't have you roll. Nothing's going to pass. As the rest of the late night, early morning comes through, and the sun rises. It seems like it's going to be a beautiful day here in the Border Forest as you all awake on the next day. As you wake, you can hear that Callie is up, starting to make morning food, morning preserves, and you can see that she's pulled out some. So you can all have your long rest, or push your long rest button. She's pulled out some preserves, and there's some packs of some dried fishes, some like salted fishes. Sorry, some salted other meats, some like.
Is fishes the
like
plural of fish?
Fishes? Yeah, it's definitely fishes.
Or is it like sheep?
Probably. I don't know. Who cares? Some red meat that's been pulled out, some like jerky that's been salted as well, and some other provisions. As you can see that Callie's brought some out to leave on the side for you guys to take with you wherever you go. As you all awake in the morning, you can see that Eliana's already up, is already up and having breakfast as you all start to stir, as they are inquiring as to where you are going and what your plan is for the day.
Can I chat to her about Jeff before we do that?
Yeah?
Just because if I don't, I'll forget. Eliana, do I notice that she looks more weathered?
I would say give me a... what's your passive perception?
18.
I think she looks like she hasn't had a full night's sleep, but then that's not surprising because you know that she woke up in the middle of the night and cast a spell on you. She looks like she maybe didn't get a full 8 hours.
Eliana, you sent me back to bed last night.
I know. Good morning. I'm sorry. I just needed a little private word, and well, you know, I didn't have much patience or persuasion at that time in the morning.
Fair enough. I was going to say you could have just asked.
I tried, and
I understand.
I saw that you. Yeah, I had other things on my mind, unfortunately.
It was late. It's okay. As you've shown to be a very powerful wizard, I was wondering if you know anything about strange magic, like souls in rings or anything like that.
She looks at you like it's a very
just getting straight to it, Eliana.
Breakfast conversation.
I forgot he existed for at least 6 weeks, so I'm just getting straight to it. Yeah.
Souls held within rings?
Mhm.
I mean, I assume the magic is possible, but that's necromancy isn't really my style.
Have you ever heard of it in terms of how to get the soul out of the ring?
I mean, there are spells that, I mean, and she kind of looks towards Arthur. She's like, there are normally divine magic picks up here over the Taut base, and it does get a little bit necromantic. I know some gods don't necessarily like stepping on those toes, but there is reincarnation magic and reviving if someone is dead or lost. There could be a way to use magic to bring someone back if you had part of them. Their soul inside a ring is an interesting one, but there's potential for anything.
But not something you've come across in your years of wizardry.
Like I say, no. Necromancy really was a no-no.
You shouldn't even dabble in the no-no?
No, no. It didn't have... It was, difficult to learn and sent you down certain paths, and I was on a different one. But no, I'm sure there are those that deal in the necromancy, and it's been a long time since I've been learning, so I'm sure there are some out there with that power. But like I say, normally steps into the divine world. Gods.
So I should be speaking more to clerics, do you think, than wizards?
Potentially.
There's no clerics in our party, so I don't think you can speak to.
We don't have anybody that knows. I mean, there's a man with a temple in the corner there.
Well, I was just thinking, it's odd because Bryn was looking for religious markings or ruins. I just thought maybe you'd come across things, that's all. But thank you, that's helpful.
No. Whatever Bryn was looking for, well, I'm assuming it wasn't pulling souls out of rings. Divine magic is the strongest of the magics. It's the most pure and been around probably the longest, so has the most power.
Makes sense. I'd like to find a private area
Mm-hmm.
to have a chat with.
Arthur's temple.
I don't know if he's going to let me in it. And if we've all just slept, they've all
He's
just
taken
slept, it's
food.
going to be stinky, isn't it?
He's just taking food and gone back
What
to
do you
his
mean?
temple.
They haven't slept in it.
No, only Arthur
Oh, just you
slept
slept in
in
it?
it.
It's
Yeah.
definitely going to be stinky then.
Yeah. It's true.
There's windows. The windows are open.
Okay.
Yeah, I can add windows to it. That's a cool thing I can do.
Yeah, it's just
let
so you
me
can have
in?
as many windows as you want. It's such a weird thing.
Yeah.
You can
I'm just
have
gonna
as
make
many
the next one I make is gonna just be entirely made of windows,
Like it.
Like a greenhouse.
but just like in odd shapes and sizes in different places and different styles. It's like a Sims house made by a toddler, or a Lego house, I guess.
If
But
someone
you
goes
can
in
find
it,
squares with-
does that mean they can't get out unless you let them out?
No, it's only
If
those.
they're allowed in it, they can open and close the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's only when I first cast the spell that I can conclude who can go in and out.
Right, so I can't go in it then. I kick it as I walk past.
I obviously still drowsy. I want to cast a ritual spell.
Ooh.
I'm just going to commune. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm just going to commune and say,
Yep.
just touch my nose, look in the sky, see I'm in a box,
Yeah.
and then kind of just say, I got this. And then that's literally all the communion is going to be. I'm not going to ask any questions. I'm not going to attempt to ask any questions. I'm just kind of doing it as me and the big geezer up top getting back together.
Mm-hmm. Touching base after
And then
you
I'll
stepped on the dark side.
I guess I will leave. And as I leave the door, I'll say, that'll be gone by tomorrow. And then
Callie looks at
I will-
Ayala and she just shrugs.
I will wait for the inevitable question about resurrection.
Sweet. She's going to go and talk to the ring first.
Okay.
I don't know. Nice.
Oh, as I do walk out the room, I say, "Oh, I feel like that's the longest sleep I've ever had on this adventure. I feel like I had this dream where people were talking for 3 hours."
2 hours.
Maybe you're just overtired because you spent so long building.
Building a temple.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I'm just breaking the fourth wall. It's fine.
It's fine. Nice. So, what is the plan?
Oh yeah, we're on a mission to do Death Bloom stuff, aren't we?
Yeah,
I got so distracted by character development.
you can you can think about that. You can speak. You can find a corner to speak to Jeff if you want as well. But yeah, essentially they've made you up some provisions to set you off. You have been reset with a long rest, so it's also where you want to go. What's the plan from here?
I mean, I guess we head towards, what was the place called again?
Amsterdam.
Yeah, Amsterdam.
We're going to go to Amsterdam.
Amsterdam. Yeah.
Could I speed run Jeff's chat?
Mm-hmm.
So, hi Jeff, how's it going? I've come to see a powerful wizard, and I was going to try and work out how to get you out, because I've not had much luck so far, but she said to speak to a cleric, so I'm going to chat to our cleric in a bit and see if he knows much about necromancy.
Mm-hmm.
Just wondering, while I have you, have you ever heard of the Circle?
He will. I need to get that damn letter up. Let me get that damn letter up. As he, you go through that, and he's like, "Oh, I mean, you leave me for all this time, and then now you're finally going to a cleric." He's like, "I could have maybe told you that from the beginning." As he's going on a bit of a rant, as you say, the Circle, he says, "What? Yes, of course I know the Circle. The Circle. I mean, I was part of the Circle."
You were? Was Vex?
And ooh,
Come on, I've built a friendship with this little man in the
you
room.
really haven't built a friendship with this man. If we're being honest, You've done the opposite of build a friendship with this man. He says, yes. Well, I mean, I was, some of the younglings that were coming through when the circle was really coming to prominence, we had some disagreements with, and Vex may have been one of them. So I know of her, yes.
You know that Vex had this ring before me. She was the one that gave me you.
She was the one. Well, I mean, because let me give me 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate I've just sprung this on you.
I need to bring up the things that were written down 9 months ago.
Maybe we could just retcon that me and Jeff get on really well.
No.
Did you write it in your backstory?
She wrote the opposite in her backstory. Jeff said my dad is boring. You wrote that down? Okay, didn't write anything useful down.
That was upsetting for me.
It was. Yeah, he goes through, he's like, and then he goes, of course she would have the ring. How else would have you got the ring? That's what, and you got it from Vex.
Yes, we had a fight and then...
And you slayed her.
Vex and I? No. She
She's a
disappeared.
traitor. She turned.
She's a traitor?
Yes, she turned against me. Her and her partner in crime, that, what's his name? Elias. He's the one that killed me. He's the reason I'm in the ring.
Dun, dun, dun.
9 months later.
Faywin. Oh, she gasps. What do you mean they turn against you? What does that mean? What?
Well, the circle was going through some power struggles, shall we say, with these new people coming in trying to promise that we can do this and take over this and blah blah, the Commonwealth will be ours. And some of us agreed and some of us didn't. There was a bunch of little upstarts that decided to break away, and unfortunately I found out about them, and that little snake Elias murdered me in cold blood and stored me in this ring for whatever purpose he had. And of course his little bint Vex is the one that picked it up after, and then somehow, without you slaying her, you've got this ring. He's like, you need to find a way to bring me back. Speedrun enough for you?
Oh,
Just imagine we could have found this out 9 months ago.
that is 9 months of emotion. Just overwhelming.
Yeah.
The worst thing is, the bit I've picked up from that is his bint Vex, as if they were dating, is the first thing that went into my head.
That's what you picked up out of that.
Yeah.
There was a letter with her.
Sounds like a
kissing
healthy
it.
relationship.
Does that make Undriel Bryn's bin?
Maybe in this world it's like a term of endearment. Right, hang on.
Did
Let
it
me go
sound
back.
like a tournament demon?
Elias slayed you.
He killed me. Yes, was slayed. I mean, that was me being dramatic. He killed me. I was lured. I found out that they were planning whatever it was, some breakaway, some little coup, and I found that they had this little plan. And before I could do anything about it and get my rewards for being a good little member of the circle, I was killed by this snake. And then, foolishly, he had this ring of shielding to protect himself, unaware that I would be stored in it, and could plague him for as long as I could. Of course, he quickly got rid of this, and that would make sense if he's given it off to her and she's handed it off like some 2-bit item. How did you get this from Vex? Are you part of the circle? Why didn't you say this before?
I'm not part of the circle. I wasn't aware of this, what the circle was. I just, until recently when I heard of it, but you said that she betrayed you? What were they breaking
killed
away
me.
for?
don't know what their plans were. All of them were power hungry. There were these new beings, these creatures that had come and promised that we could supercharge our plans. The circle has been around for a very long time, but in the dark, always. Snatching and taking power where we can. Much more... there was a finesse. There was a eloquence to being in espionage and spying and swaying decisions from inside the Council of Allhearth. But no, they wanted to make big moves and big bangs, and they couldn't wait or be patient. And these, whoever they were, this little offshoot decided... that was their way of doing it. I found out I was going to turn them in, and before that could happen, this Elias kills me.
Who are you turning them into? And what was the circle?
The circle.
But who are the circle?
Who are the circle? Oh, child. The circle isn't a single person. The circle is a group. The circle is the opposition to those snooty highborn elves of Allhearth, probably ones that you hang around with on a daily basis. No, you must know the circle. Oh, and he's like, oh no, I suppose the goody two shoes maybe wouldn't be aware of such things. Well, either way,
I can't say that
I can help you. I can help you find whatever you need to find. Now we have common ground. Find a way of getting me out of this ring, and I can help you with whatever you need. The circle, I owe nothing to the circle now.
But, you don't owe anything to those that betrayed you, but... What,
I owe
the
them
original
murder, I owe them
circle?
revenge.
Well, yes, but I mean the original circle. Would you not want to, rekindle with them?
Well, they haven't come to find me. They haven't avenged my death. Apparently Vex is still walking around, so once I'm
How do you
in
know
body
that she's
again...
still walking around?
How about we go back to the arrangement, find a way of getting me out, and I can help you with anything you need. We have information now. This is how bartering works. Like I said, an eloquence to espionage and data bartering.
No, of course, but you're
going
in
to
the
ask me a
ring,
question.
right? So how do you, as a soul in a ring, how do you know what's going on without me telling you? You don't
you
know
will
that
need to
Vex
know.
is still walking around.
You tell me that she gave you the ring and you did not slay her. So where is she now?
Oh, anything could have happened. It was weeks ago, as you
So
know.
you do not know. Well, I know how to find her. But I can only help you if you get me out of the ring. See? It's easy.
Do you think Elias is still alive?
I hope not.
Are you
I hope that
looking
snake
to-
is dead.
Okay, Jeff. I will. Now I know the right path for the whole necromancy thing. I will work on it.
Good. Work on it. Yes. Get me back and we can take down the circle. We can do whatever we need to. I can give you all the information. Just get me back into a body and get me into Allhearth.
Is that where they're based, Jeff? In Allhearth, the circle?
The circle is everywhere, but the circle, my base of operations was Allhearth.
Okay.
Hurry along.
She's just staring into space.
I love how Faye would have to do more negotiation.
I mean,
Where was the
Yeah.
persuasion check I was promised? There should be a persuasion check from Faye in every...
It never goes
that's
well.
9 months of information that Herb's been sat on. So I feel like some of it had to come out of that when we haven't done
The persuasion check failed about a year ago. IRL. Learnt my lesson. Nice. So, whilst Faywin has an existential crisis, the rest of you can think about where you go next. So you're going to head down to Amberstead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sweet. So you have some choices. You can follow the same path that you know has been marked out by Bryn, which is sticking to the coast and going through the light forest. You could go through the deeper forest. It's going to be about the same distance to go there, but you know he travelled that way. Or you could take the boat, which might speed up your time because you'll be able to travel part of the way at least by the river. If, you probably could all squeeze in that boat, but if someone has the ability to do other stuff, then the boat would get you there. It's going to take you a full day's travel to get to Amstead, you'll be having to sleep one night out in the forest. If you go by boat, you'll then arrive there the next day very, very early, or you could get there in a night if you push through. So it's up to you if you want to take a rest in the forest, or you want to push, not rest, and try and get to this town by taking the river.
Well, remember that one of us doesn't need to go on the boat.
Because they're, because they've got Flying Pegasus. Two of you, technically.
Because I've got a Flying Pegasus.
Flying Pegasus.
I mean, I could also get a Flying Pegasus, but I need my temple.
You also could turn into birds and fly there. So yeah, your choice. Through a day, another rush like you had before, going through the forest. You have to spend one night out in the forest, and then you'll arrive at Amstead the next day. Or so it's like a full 24 hours travel, or you speed it up by going down the river. Any takers?
Faerun can make no decision.
I'm flabbergasted. You're the ranger.
Oh. I gave that ring to my mum.
I know.
The soul of a bloke that my brother murdered.
Yeah, you should have left it in the house. I know. Crazy, right?
Incredible. I can use my traits to help. We do go anywhere to stop us getting lost, but just how people want to do it.
Yeah,
I can do swamp, forest, and something else.
It will come down to whether you want to risk going through the forest, which is going to river's going to be the safest for traveling. Forest is going to be next safest. If you go in the forest, you'll be able to approach, and you will have had a rest, hopefully, because you'd have been outside. If you go down the river, you'll be getting there later, so you got to hope you'll go into a safe place, because you'll be getting there possibly without rest if you want to try and speedrun it. So it's turning up with the safety of a rest, but you might run into something in the forest, or push to try and get to the next settlement. You might turn up there exhausted, like with a chance of exhaustion, but if it's safe, that won't be a problem. You know that it's supposed to be
120 temple, 120 square foot temple.
So if you want, you can just
more than that,
go through the forest and put a massive temple in there.
Whatever 120 by 120 foot is.
I mean, we've got to let out to perfect his temple, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I say camp in the woods mainly because for selfish reasons, I want to show off how massive I can make the temple.
Yeah. Do it.
And then maybe Zaka can make his mansion.
We can have
we could have
a mansion and a temple off.
See each other.
Perfect. Sweet.
And then when we wake up in the morning, we can shake hands and. Well done,
Switch
Orchard.
over. Well done.
You don't need that terraced house in Allhearth anymore. You can just
I know,
build
he's
your own
literally
temple.
that's what he's saying.
You can't live in a temple. A temple is a place of worship.
Some people live in temples.
You can't.
Yeah.
That's also true. And I was about to say you can't sleep in a house of worship, and then I realised that that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
Literally yesterday.
Yeah. You know that thing. Nice. So let me just find where the ones are. You head out towards Amstead. You take provisions. They give you some food, so you've got some stuff to go. Ileana points you in the right direction, gives you a bit more of a detailed map to pick your route through along the river to try and stay away from areas that are more dangerous, but then again says you'll find what you find with this Death Blue moving on. She is a wizard, so it's available to be contacted. If you need to contact her, Otter, about stuff, or others about other bits, she's going to try and do some investigation maybe on the Death Bloom. But again, now that she's given away this this artifact, that was her goal, that was her reason for being locked up. So she has a little bit more freedom now, but she is available if you need to call upon anybody. As you all leave, and Callie,
Can I give her a hug?
you can give her a hug, yeah.
Will she accept it, or do we
She
need to
stabs you
dex?
with Otter's trident. No, she accepts it.
Oh, that's nice. It's been a pleasure to meet you, Eliana. I feel like I knew you in a past life.
She cuts off Faywin's sixth finger.
Oh, I should have asked her to do that.
Oh my god, yeah. She's looking at you, she's like, the Death Bloom. Its effects
I
are
can't believe we
everywhere.
didn't reference that when you made mention of the knife game.
Oh god.
I thought it, and I thought I'm not saying a thing.
Oh, that would be funny. Cool. So you guys head out on the way to Amberstead. You make it through. Can you... the first part of the walk is easy enough. You make it through. You find a nice place to camp about midpoint towards Amberstead. So you can set up and sleep for the evening here. who will be doing watches?
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously the Alps.
Obviously the Alps. Give me 2.
And they need. I need cover for an hour to build my
do it.
big temple. Is there 120 foot cube space? Or is it
Yeah,
like-
this is quite
or is
light
it-
forest. So, there's probably not 120 foot cube space, but there's enough to do it a lot bigger. You'll probably be able to find like a 40 or 50 foot space between the trees.
I'll
It's
do the
like
biggest I
lighter
can.
forest.
It
Yeah.
takes the same amount of time. So.
Yeah. Nice. So yeah,
And my
you
magical hard hat and a spirit level appear out of nowhere as part
Nice.
of the process.
conjure
I'll
up
pick
this
the
temple.
stones up for you.
And you've already got a hammer.
Yeah, it's already got a hammer. It's Minecraft. Nice.
Just call me Steve.
You, what can we pick up? No, that's it, I think. Nice. So yeah, give me the 2 perception checks for your night's watch.
Oh,
14.
I should make
Nat-
clear everyone can come inside the temple, except all those other
Okay.
beings.
14 and what was that?
nat 20, so 28.
Nat 20. You can hear. So you are out on the coast, bordering on some of the thicker forest. We'll say you follow Bryn's path, so you try and essentially like cut the hex as tight as possible to make it there as quick as possible. So you're camped out not too far from when you can see that the forest starts to thicken up. You get into this deeper forest, but you're on the edge of it. You know you're coming towards Amberstead. With a 28, as you look out and you are keeping watch through, you're in, like, this temple gives off a dim light anyway. You're in this temple that's like quite visibly out of place from where it is. You hear the normal moans and moves. You hear some creaking in the deeper forest, or from that general direction, and you get a feeling that something isn't quite right. With a 28, it's so freak. Was it 28 or 25?
28.
28, yeah, that's
It
ridiculous.
was a nat 20.
As you look off towards the east, towards that direction, you can make out that there are very well hidden, and in this light, almost like look camouflaged in the dark, like black greys of the evening. Your dark vision would throw you into blacks and greys anyway. You can see these, what look like the tops of heads, just the tops of bald heads, and just the reflection of these eyes, almost catching the moonlight looking back at you. But these faces, the skin and the coloration, there's no hair there, but the skin almost looks like it's the same color, like it's a stone grey color. As you can see, there's 1 or 2 of these eyes looking back at you. As you try and work out whether they're a threat or not, are they coming closer, not coming closer, like what are they, who could they be, how do they work out? When you start to distance measure them, so you're like, from the distance I am to where I'm seeing from, you're probably seeing these guys at the extremities of your dark vision, so you're like into the 60s plus foot away that you just noticed them hanging around. Compared to the size of like the small brushes and bushes that are there and the trees that are around, these heads are massive. Like, not normal 6 foot humanoid size heads. Like, if you were to proportionally blow these things up, these creatures are like giant sized. But you don't know, like, you know there were giants, but giants have been getting gradually smaller over the years, and they live in the far, far south. They were part of the alliance with the king of the south during the forest. They lived down in Alba, right down in like the southeast of the country. You've never seen creatures this big unless they've been like abominations or ogres. But even they're like matching the size of that. They must be matching the size of that creature you fought that came out of the forest before. But they're still and just watching and grey skinned. And after about 20 minutes, you seem to disappear and you lose sight of them. Without the eyes flashing back, you lose sight of these. Only 1 or 2 of these creatures that were just watching you.
That's scary.
That's good. And then you, once you like lose sight of them, with 28, you can keep track of them for a bit. But yeah, like I say, as soon as you lose sight of them, with that distance that they go out in and the coloration, they almost blend in, like they camouflage out. And again, after about 20 minutes, you hear a bit more of the cracking into the woods, sounding like now you're putting two and two together, larger things moving through dense forest, cracking on branches that are left behind, trying to be quiet where they are, but still making some noise as they move.
Are things coming towards us?
No, they've moved away.
They've gone away.
All, with a 28, all you notice is you were
quick.
being watched. But you were obviously in a freaking temple, right? You're in a dimly lit
looking out
temple.
the
So
window.
yeah, it's quite obvious where you are. So you knew that they were looking towards you, and that's what you caught. You caught from, they stayed at a distance. They monitored you from maybe about 15, 20 minutes. Didn't seem to move closer. Moved around a little bit just to get sight of. And as you were kind of making that assessment, like what they are, that's when you noticed. It's like when you've been staring at them for a bit and picking out, just the size doesn't make sense. Like from a distance, they look like they were normal sized heads, but that makes no sense because next to that bush, that head is like the size of the bush. So wait a minute, that must be a freaking big creature. So these things have snuck in to look at what you're doing. And then, 15 minutes goes, you start to lose the eyes, and then you can't spot them anymore. And then you start to hear the cracking of the trees, of the sound of something moving away from you.
Could I do an arcane check, a history check, sorry? Or would me knowing about you said about the giants have been further from the south, is that kind of enough roll that I would get?
You can give a history roll. You're a bookworm. Might as well use your skills.
I am. That's 24.
24. You know that the giants, the last of the true giants, had a large role to play in the Fallen Conquest. In the last war, they were the original inhabitants of Ashling, and then the humans moved in, and then they kind of worked in coexistence, and then lots of other beings and races kind of moved to the island, started making it their home. It now was this mishmash of everybody. During that time, like after the Fallen Conquest, the giants just got smaller and smaller land, were promised a bit less. They live and kept themselves to themselves, but they're now down to like Goliath size, which is a playable character. So they're still like 8 to 10 foot tall, but they're not the giant size they were before. The giants have slowly, kind of with the mix, have just got smaller and smaller. But there were always rumours that like the last true giants that fought in the war, after the war happened, the same way that the elves were like, we need to stop this. The giants that were left that saw stuff, it was always wondered what happened to them. Like, where did they all go? They didn't all go back to Alba. Some of them must have split off. Some of them must have done something else. And there's almost a bit of that like Bigfoot-esque stories around them, where it's always explained that they're actually monstrosities and it's ogres and it's Fabians and it's cave trolls, but no one has really pinned down. Like there's always little rumors, but no one's ever really seen like true giants, intelligent giants that are not beasts or monstrosities since the Fallen Conquest.
Interesting. I'll make a note of that for the morning.
Yep. And then
The trident.
yep.
It's supposed to be attuned to it because it doesn't have a attunement on it.
Which one have you grabbed?
The trident of binding.
No, don't be so silly. You're not getting that
Different
trident. Yeah, it's called.
No.
That's a legendary weapon. It's called the Broken Trident of Binding. The Broken Trident or something.
Boo.
Yeah, it's broken. As if I'm giving you a legendary weapon, you dish towel. Here you go. Have this legendary weapon. I gave what were your characters at that point? Level 15, level 16?
16.
Yeah.
And that was an overpowered weapon. Yeah, it's called the Broken Trident something. It also, so take that trident, also take the... Oh, I need to work out how we do it. But you will also get as part of the trident. The trident is the weapon, but I couldn't mold the two together. You'll get the basic Rod of the Pack Keeper.
Okay, cool.
So it's part of the same thing. So we'll work out how we do it, because I was like, I can't be bothered to meld these all into one.
Yeah.
But they come as one. So if you have the trident, you have the Rod of the Pack Keeper. If you don't, you don't. It's like they both come together. So you have to have both equipped or non-both equipped. So that will boost your Warlock stuff. So it's a slightly less powerful trident. It sells a lot of cool shit. But it gives you
Which Rod of the Pack Keeper is
the
it?
basic one, whatever the first one is.
The uncommon one.
Yeah. and then with things that you can do, and as you learn more, there'll be a chance for that to be upgraded.
Yeah.
Nice. So, the rest of the night goes through. Nothing else happens during that second watch as you all awake inside the temple in the middle of the forest on the way of the river down and can make your
I'd
way
like to
into
make
Amsterdam.
clear that the lighting, because I can decide the lighting,
Oh, yep.
it's floating candlesticks.
Floating
Harry Potter-esque.
candlesticks. Okay.
Who
Nice.
likes this?
Very enjoys it very much.
Tomorrow night it will be spotlights,
Oh.
No disco.
Well,
like
yeah, if you need it.
like on a football pitch. Floodlights is the word, not
Floodlights.
Yeah.
spotlights.
God, that's not quite as nice.
If you
When
survive
everybody
the
wakes
storm.
up, I'd like to tell them as we leave the building, be careful.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I saw what I can only describe to be giants or giant-like creatures watching us from afar. They were definitely too big to be Goliaths.
I go to the altar and cast a ritual spell. Don't say anything. I just look up to the sky and wink.
Mm-hmm. It's almost like a star.
How
I
long
become
does
really
your-
needy. That's
How long
really
does
all I'm
your
gonna do.
ritual spell take?
10 minutes,
Okay.
I think.
So it's probably
Well-
not good to talk about necromancy when you're chatting to your god.
Yeah. It's not necromancy. It's not the death. It's bringing life. We can do it on the walk.
While he's doing that, I guess I'm going to ritually do human nature as well to see
Mm-hmm.
if those giant creatures are still close by.
Seeing him doing this, I cough under my breath and say, "Can you do that outside, please?"
Not
I
in
will
this
explain
temple.
to Van the direction they went in and all of the description and stuff.
But
Like
it's just within a radius of where we are, so
that. Okay.
So I don't know if it would
That
work
goes in that
inside,
direction.
just reading the spell, but it might do. I don't quite understand half the words in D&D.
I would have done it outside anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would
you
have been
wanna commune.
respectful.
So it goes for how far? We said 1 square, right?
Yeah.
You will. What's this called? Commune nature.
Yeah.
What's the thing you're asking it? Because you get the. You asking. You get 3 things right, and you get to ask for a specific question, and then more
Yeah,
general
so I
shit.
guess I can ask for the. I guess if there's any prevalent. Well, I guess there's if there's any giants in the vicinity, I guess, just as a general.
Mm-hmm. Animals or peoples. Okay. You get a faint pull, so like distant pull from a for where you are. From where you are, you get a pull from like an easterly direction, incredibly faint. That there are giant creatures in the deep forest. So you're on the I can't remember if I get the map up. I'll get the map up and show you. But yeah, between Dunbar and Amberstead is a light forest hex. From directly east from there, you get a very, very light feel. Not towards Amberstead, above Amberstead, but yeah, from an easterly general direction, you get a very faint pull that there are some giant-sized creatures.
Okay. Can I also get an idea if there's any powerful Fae in the area?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And obviously we have these portals that are dotted around and stuff as well, whether that might help, see if we can locate any more of them.
Yeah. You would. I don't think you get a pull for any strong Fae. No. Not in the surrounding hexes.
I guess for the third one, go for any sort of influence from other planes of existence, obviously.
Other than the Pegasus.
Yeah, Pegasus lights up.
Yeah.
Parts of other planes of existence. Don't think so. No, not from your point. From the surrounding hexes you've got there. No.
I will relay to the rest that have picked up the presence of those giant beings to the east, so we should avoid that direction.
So, like, ahead of us east, not behind us east.
Ahead of you east. Let me get the map up.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
No, I had it and I literally just turned it off and I was like, oh, that was stupid.
I'm assuming we're heading southeast, right?
You're heading, yeah.
I'd have no sense of direction at the best of times.
Yeah. So you are up here in Dunborough. You've come down to here, following Bryn's path. This is Amberstead, and you got the feeling from like this, because you only get a feeling for the one hexes around.
Yeah.
You get a feeling from like this far side east.
Okay.
But it was like fate, so it's this sort of direction.
So they're in the foresty bit.
They're in the deep forest, yeah. So the light forest, these are light forests. Obviously, these are towns. Deep forest, they will have different things that might happen depending on the type of hex that is.
Got it.
Yeah, so we head straight
So
southeast rather than going.
Yeah, you'll be heading to Amberstead, which is, you think, a settlement. What's her name? Eliana would have told you that Amberstead is a settlement. It has people in it that live in it. It's like a working town. That's where she sent Undriel. That's where she knows. It's not a big settlement. It's like 50 to 100 people max. But it is a settlement where people live. So she was sending you to that direction.
Okay.
That's good to know, Van. Thank you for checking it out, because that was a bit scary. I've never seen him before.
What? I'm not scary. I'm just a big friendly giant. I'm gonna eat you. Yum yum yum.
Fane does seem a bit distracted today.
Is Zaga trotting or is he flying?
Ooh.
Hovering like a foot off the ground.
Nice.
I don't know this Pegasus very well yet. I don't trust it to be like 60 foot in the air.
It's like, I can fly. Just let me fly.
I also love the idea
Shut up,
that
you are flying.
no one's even like just said a single thing about it. Just
Like,
as if it's just happened.
I mean, it's Zaga, who you so strangely know.
Faven keeps giving him a look, and it's not a very nice look. But luckily for him, she's distracted with other things, but
The horse.
she's not happy.
Zaga is paying no attention to Faven.
The horse is like
As
the strange one, the blonde one. She stares at me. What's wrong with her?
In my head. Oh, she's just jealous. Just ignore her. She'll hate it.
Okay. Fluffy tail.
Does
sorry,
Faven get John to hover a foot around?
That's just like a bird floating.
oh my, what would happen if I were to summon a Pegasus?
Yep.
Would they be able to interact with each other? Like,
They
telepathically or
speak.
not?
Well, they speak a language. You speak to them telepathically, but I think they actually get a language. I think they can talk, though, can't they? I'm pretty sure. I was reading it because I was like, "This is stupid."
What language can...
They speak a language because they go to.
Minotaur?
No, yeah, that'd be funny, wouldn't it? I think it gets to pick, because it becomes an intelligent creature. It gets to pick a language that you speak.
So it says on the stat block, the languages it has are Common, Elvish, Celestial, and Sylvan, but it can't speak.
It gains
Sylvan,
the ability
I want to tell him he's beautiful.
yeah.
So it can understand those languages. It just can't speak back to you in them.
What's weird? It says it gains the Find Greater Seed spell says it gains the ability to understand one language of your choice that you speak, but it doesn't say it can speak.
So, can I telepathically, even though you can't say anything back, telepathically to the Pegasus in Sylvan, blink twice if he's trapped you?
See it open its eyes real wide. Just
Okay.
she's talking to me. I shall ignore her.
Ignore her.
Yes. Eyes wide open.
When we get back to town, we're gonna go see a leather crafter or something to get you a.
You're going to turn him.
you a-
You're going to turn him into leather.
We're gonna get something made for your head to like
Put the
put a strap
blinkers.
on and have a horn, so you look like a unicorn. She'll hate it.
Nice.
I thought you were going to say we get back to...
horns anyway. Or are we playing
No,
too much
Pegasus. Pegasus don't have. Unicorns have horns. Pegasus have wings.
Oh, you're going to say when we get back to town, I'm going to go do some blackjack and hookers.
I thought you could get a saddle. It'd be sore riding without a saddle. Either way.
As we're walking along,
Mhm.
I say to Farron, I noticed you look like you wanted to ask me something earlier.
Fabian then looks incredibly surprised that Arthur remembered.
I have +10 insight.
Incredible. It's a bit of a weird one, actually, Arthur. I noticed you were doing something religious this morning, and I didn't want to interrupt. It didn't feel respectful or appropriate. I want to ask you something about the divine that's maybe not necessarily as nice. What do you know of necromancy magic?
I sort of tilt my head to the side tonight. It's the first time anyone's asked me that question. Do you mean giving life magic? That's what I call it.
My understanding was it was kind of more around death, but you're the...
Have you not seen that thing I've been doing since we first met, where tendrils come out my fingers and kill things?
That's necromancy.
I assume so.
I can't say that I've really come across it that much. I thought it was kind of like to do with wizards and stuff. I didn't really notice the whole cleric thing. Do you remember when I got this ring and I'd show him? I'm wearing it. Do you remember, Jeff? I got given it ages ago. You might remember I was speaking to the ring for a while because his soul is in it.
I stopped walking for a second. I kind of put my head to my hand as my finger to my head as I'm thinking. No, doesn't ring a bell.
Well, so I have this ring. It's got a soul in it, and I found out he was murdered, and his soul went into this ring. And I'm trying to find a way he wants to get out.
Cool.
He wants me to help him get out, but said something about he needs a body, but I don't really know how that.
Do you have his body?
I don't have
A finger?
his body.
Toenail?
Why would I have his
don't know if toenail
toenail?
work.
Why would I need that?
Do you have a diamond? Roughly 1,000 gold pieces?
I don't have a diamond of 1,000 gold. Why do you want a diamond?
Well, then I
or a
can't help
toenail?
you.
Why? What would you do with his toenail?
You know how hard to like...
Wait, how long's he been dead?
A real long time. Like a real long time.
Like, are we talking 10 years, a year, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years?
Hold on. Hang on.
If you put me on hold.
Yeah, please hold. If you'd like to just sing some music in your own head, and just pretend in your head would be great. I speak to Jeff, and I'm like, "Hey Jeff, it's me."
Oh,
As a
obviously.
soul in a ring, you have no concept of time, right? So you wouldn't know
Correct.
necessarily when you were murdered.
Do
Do you know roughly the time?
I mean, we still have years. So yes,
Okay, which year were you killed?
I've forgotten. It would probably be about
How many years ago, I guess?
probably only
So I
about.
don't know.
It wouldn't have been that long, actually. I reckon it would only been about between 2 and 5 years.
Okay, thank you. Great.
If it's a
thanks.
problem, we can
Just-
we can have a look. But yeah, it wouldn't have been that long ago when the power shift started to happen and stuff happened. So yeah, put on the lower scale of that, I reckon it would have probably been about 2 years.
Okay, great. That's great, Jeff. Thank you. I'm just I'm having a chat with Necromancer. So
Oh, lovely. Ooh.
yeah. Yes, I know. Making progress. And then I stop speaking to him.
Mhm.
Around 2 to 5 years after. And
Oh, easy.
No
yeah,
toenails.
yeah. Get me a body, his body, and an expensive diamond, and we could talk nice and easy.
But his body, 2 to 5 years. He doesn't know where the body is. He
Well,
was murdered,
that's
so
your-
it's not in a grave.
I can't transfer him to another body. I'm not a god.
So it would have to be a god that transfers a soul into a body. It couldn't be
I don't know. Just look. What I can do is give me an expensive diamond and my fee, and then I look up into the sky and I'm like, scrap the fee. Just get me the expensive diamond, and yeah, closes all mortal wounds and restores any missing body part. Just yeah,
But you need some part of his body, right?
yeah.
And I don't have that. And we'd have no idea where that is. So
Does he know where he died?
hold on.
Do you have a spade?
A spade? No?
To dig up where he died?
No, he won't. Arta, he was murdered. I very much doubt he has a grave. It's not
No,
somewhere
no.
with a headstone that we
Yeah,
can go
but
and
they might
see and
just
get his
put him in a
body,
hole
or-
somewhere.
But we
to hide
don't
the
know
body.
where.
I was
Okay,
really hoping
hold
you were
on.
going to ask. That was funny. I was like, are you going to ask? Because that really is a silly question.
Regardless, I asked Jeff if he remembers whereabouts he was murdered.
Of course I remember where I was murdered. I was murdered in the halls of the damn circle.
And where is that? Because we may need to see if there's an item of yours to help revive you.
Well, I don't think they just left me in the halls of the circle.
No, I know, but is there like a place that the circle would usually dump things?
Or dump the murdered bodies of their own people that a bunch of... No, I don't think so. It's a very specific
mean-
place.
Yeah, no, I didn't think so either. Thank you. Sorry, this necromancer.
Who's this necromancer? He sounds like a charlatan.
Yes, I'm starting to think the same. Thank you. No,
Fabian, you've got a frown on your face.
funnily enough, he doesn't have a grave.
Oh, well, I can't really help then. Maybe give me, I don't know, when I'm feeling 7 metaphorical levels stronger and I might have something else to do. But as things stand, without a body, you're kind of out of luck with me.
But you don't remember anything from when you were being taught the ways of the cleric about...
I don't remember anything. I just kind of wake up and I can do stuff. Really cool.
He really is a bad cleric. He's come into it late in life.
He's not even that old.
No.
He's like early 20s.
Late in his cleric life.
Thanks anyway, Arta.
Oh, hold up.
Faerun has hope in her eyes. John does not.
Something's just occurred to me.
You're a cleric?
Wait a minute.
The description creature, do they have to be alive?
No, creature doesn't have to be alive. Creature is like the catch-all term for everything. But technically a
we
ring's
could
not a
just
creature.
scry his body. Because we have...
Doesn't...
But if it is buried somewhere, it would just be
Yeah.
seeing mud. I imagine it won't be like a pin drop on a map.
Yeah, it creates a sensor within 10 feet of the target. So I know where the sensor is.
That triggers a light bulb in Faywin's head, but
Mm-hmm.
not to scry on the dead body.
Yeah.
There's the light bulb.
That's the light bulb.
That's the light bulb.
Oh, you mentioned this... Did she mention the circle to us?
It's in the letter.
Yeah. You would have seen it at
So
some
you
point.
would know about the circle.
You would know about it.
I haven't told.
I think even asked you about the circle. I think.
I haven't told anyone that Jeff was in the circle yet, though.
Because I could. Can I? Does that work? To find the shortest, most direct physical route to a fixed location. Ah, no, you're often familiar with it. Okay.
Thanks anyway, Arthur. Thank you for trying.
So, if we can scry the body, then yeah, and expensive diamond, then yeah, I don't see why not. I mean, can you trust this ring?
I look down on it, a little bit sheepish, and I frantically shake my head.
Insight check.
Go for it.
18.
I'm not lying. I don't trust it.
So why are we doing this then?
It has
It's fine. It's fine. You obviously owe it some.
No, it's not like that. It's just we might not have a choice. We might need the information that it has, but it's something.
Is it blackmailing you?
A little.
How are you being blackmailed by an inanimate object with a soul in it?
I mean, you see me. I'm not the most persuasive, so I don't tend to get things without having to pay for them in some way.
I look quizzically and then I nod and do not say anything to comfort her after this thing.
Is this conversation in everyone's earshot?
I think as you're walking, yeah.
Yeah, it's
You're
fine.
making your way towards
Yeah.
Amsterdam.
I'm not keeping anything behind when I'm talking about bringing people back from the dead.
And there's no other sounds around. You're just walking through a forest.
Yeah. But what I'll say, if he died like 2 to 5 years ago, you've got we'll say 94 years to find the body. So get at him, champ. And I punch her in the arm.
How long do tieflings live? And I don't mean this particular one, which is
Not that long.
shorter.
Yeah, not that long.
Not
that
I think it's
over 90.
they're about the same as humans.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I
Yeah.
think it's slightly more, but
Yeah,
it's
not a
more or
lot
less the
more.
same.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's not with elves or
No,
dwarves.
no.
Great.
But yeah. Find me a body and a big diamond, and I'll sort it. Easy. And then thinking about this conversation we just had, I was like, I say aloud, should I have been so blasé with that? I don't know if I. And then I shrug and just kind of carry on walking.
Also trying to be a good guy. He's refusing to mention his necromancy.
I'm not trying to be out of character moment. It's not to try and be a good guy. I just think it'd be cool.
Fun to bring someone back.
Character development.
I'm gonna quiz Faywin on the info because obviously she hasn't mentioned anything to anyone about talking to Jeff.
Yeah. And now she's running around
But you
asking
can
to
see me
resurrect
like
people.
looking at the ring and telepathically speaking, and then going back. So it'd be
Yeah, but I know. But when you had that conversation before,
yeah. And it'd be obvious that I'm consulting the ring when asking Arthur about this stuff as well.
so what has Jeff said to you?
Oh my god, I forgot to tell you with everything that happened last night. Oh my goodness.
Wait, what happened last night?
Yeah, Arthur's been walking with a fucking trident. I love that Arthur would be the only one that could see a Pegasus, see a new gold trident, and still be like, "There's something new going on. What's happened?"
The funny thing is, I now have 20 passive insight
Insight,
Everyone's
yeah,
Telling the Pegasus. So.
and 15 passive perception.
15
just
passive
stupid.
perception. You should
I
pick up
noticed it,
more
I just
stuff.
don't realise it's
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
I know it's there. It just doesn't occur to me.
So I got 24 passive investigation. I never get to make use of.
To clarify, you don't have to explain what happened. I was listening. I do know. We could just say retcon that you've told me, if you want to.
Von, would you have told everyone about what happened with Otar?
I don't think I would have done, to be honest, because
Not. Well, yeah, I suppose it's up to
What
Otter.
Otar would you have told them?
Probably not. It's still a bit in his own head. So feel free to if you want to.
Maybe like a high level thing then Feynman will say Eliana had a chat with Ottar about the what are they called? Relics, not relics. What are we calling them?
Artifacts.
Artifacts, that's the word I couldn't think of. And gave him that gold thing, trident. And when I went down, he was really sweaty, and then Eliana sent me back to bed, and I just went back to sleep, so it was kind of a bit of a confusing night. But with that, I forgot to tell you that Eliana didn't know anything about the circle, but I thought I'd ask Jeff, seeing as he was, you know, around in Allhearth and sort of forgot that he existed for a while. Jeff was in the circle. He was part of it.
So
And
we can. So that's the information you want to get from him.
he won't tell me anymore, but I found out how he was murdered.
Wait, he was murdered in a shape.
He was
Oh God, am I going
murdered-
to be murdered in my square temple?
What's the circle?
It's a shape. It's like round,
Thanks,
like a
Arthur.
tree.
Fucking Chucker Brothers.
Who murdered him?
Someone else within the circle, and Vex was there. Vex was part of the circle.
How big is this circle? How many people can fit in it?
It seems quite a few.
See, I think a square's a much better shape because you can fit more people in a square.
Well, it depends how big of a square or circle. If you got a tiny
No,
square
but
and a
if they-
big ass
if
circle,
If they're like the same middle bit, like middle length, then like you've got extra corners, don't you? Where they're not in a circle. Anyway, sorry, you were saying something serious, and we're I can just sense
Was
Faywin's disapproval with the conversation.
Faywin, was Vex involved in it then?
Faywin slowly nods.
Just Vex?
Faywin shoots a look at one man. Quite a subtle one. Very subtle for Faywin. But not
I've
subtle
got-
enough. you wouldn't
Wait,
know.
do we need to bring Vex back from the dead as well? Is Vex dead?
No,
We don't know.
we don't know.
Oh,
You let.
I mean,
fine.
Jeff,
Well, she went.
Jeff doesn't
I
seem
didn't-
to think he is, but you know, he is just a soul in the ring, so has no sense of anything.
well, I was just thinking with all the charitable deeds you've been doing recently, I don't know if you can afford 2 very expensive mounts.
Yeah, Vex was part of it. There was a rebellion within the circle itself. They were working with beings and trying to speed things up and go out with a bigger bang and things like that, Jeff said, but he was part of it and he'd found out and he was going to report them to the circle. Wouldn't tell me who in the circle because the circle isn't just one person. And he was
kind of
murdered.
beings, like vampire beings.
I mean, he said powerful, and Vex was around with Zarkul, so
The circle is full of vampires. Nobody go near this circle.
there could possibly be vampires that are trying to overturn the circle. They were a group that were into espionage and things. They went out of Warhearth.
So Vex went against the circle.
Yeah. Vex and others sheepish.
What
Can I
others,
insight
you
check her
know?
on the others? She's being very sheepish about.
If you know the names of these others, it's better you tell us.
22 on insight.
I got a 5 on deception.
A 5.
Mhm.
So
I rolled a 3.
everyone's passive is above that, so you all know that she has been shifty.
Passive insight 20.
Yeah.
Read her mind. You always do it to me.
I like this is like stopped. This is like, it feels like a circling round of fame, and everyone's like, what?
I-
Yeah.
A circle, you say?
Oh!
The circle? We've gone full circle.
Do it, Bon. Do it.
I am gonna detect faults on Faywin.
What do I have to do for that?
If you go, you have to roll a wisdom if
So-
you're going to go push below surface fault.
So,
which probably
well,
makes
yeah.
sense.
So what would I get from surface level?
Do I tell you what you'd get?
You're the one
Yeah, I
thinking
guess so.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Don't ask me, don't ask me, don't ask me. Do I tell them? I don't know if I tell them.
Yeah.
Can I tell he's in my head now? Or only when he pushes
you-
further in?
No, if you
I don't
no the surface level
think it's
fortune.
only if I push, isn't it?
Only
I
if you
think.
push and you don't succeed.
Oh no, like, even if I they do succeed. Well, either way, they know at the end afterwards. I think.
Yeah, that's what happened to me.
At the oh yeah.
I'm going to push for wisdom saving throw, please.
Wisdom saving throw.
Only a 12.
That's a fail.
So you now know that Elias killed Jeff. And as soon as I know that you've been in my head.
1 minute.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 1 minute later. It's when the spell ends, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
In hearing that information, I immediately cut the connection and know exactly that I'm going to get a big backlash from this straight away.
Do you tell everybody?
Do you know what I now know?
What do you mean what you now know? You can't speak to Jeff.
Oh
only
no,
I
no,
can
that
speak
was I won't say.
Oh,
that.
okay. So I
Oh.
now know that you've been in my head.
Yes.
Character.
Mhm.
You now know that he now knows. What
Mhm. I don't know that you know that he knows, but they don't know. This
we
is
notice
I
Bond
will
on
telepathically
recoil
say to
at
Faywin.
finding out the information.
yeah. Everyone's just staring at each other.
I will telepathically say to
I
Faywin.
want to be pointing
you
at people
should-
like the Spider-Man meme.
You should tell us.
I whip my head to him. So angry that he's been in my head. And telepathically say, I would have got there. You didn't have to go into my brain. Can you understand now why I'm a bit hesitant?
It's not nice when he does it to you, is it? From the look on her face.
Mind flayers like brains.
Vampires.
He could have just asked me, Zaga, because I'm not a liar like some. And I poke my tongue out at the Pegasus just because why not?
She's
Because I have noticed it, but I'm
attack.
not.
she's attacking me.
He was killed by rebels. Jeff was. And he won't tell me any more about the circle or anything until I get him a body. Until I get him out of the ring, and Arta doesn't know how to do it unless I have a toenail and some gold or a diamond. And so
You know you're the one in
Diamond.
power here, right? He's in a ring.
Yeah.
You just tell him,
Why
well,
don't
no,
you just,
I'm not going to get you out of the fucking ring until you tell me some shit.
Why don't you just threaten to throw him away?
He did tell me things though. He told me about the circle, and I don't know if you've noticed, Aga, but I don't have quite your charisma or your persuasion skills.
Imagine if there was a book you could read.
Maybe he's lying to get himself out of the ring.
You mean, well, what would he be lying about?
Everything, whatever you want to hear, so he gets out of the ring.
He does know who I am, she says out loud.
Wait, so who were these rebels that killed him?
How does he know who you are?
Well, he's He's from Allhearth, and I'm from Allhearth, and he knew my father by name.
I mean, he's a famous librarian.
But he knew my mother too, and he knew that he left. He knew that he went missing. So
Who went missing?
He must.
Jeff went missing.
He's not missing, he's on your finger. Which is he on your 6th finger?
I hope so.
Elias.
Your brother?
I'm not a liar.
Elias, my brother.
He knew your brother?
You have a brother?
He went missing, as I look at Saga. Nobody knows where he went. But he...
Well, if you can find his body...
I'm going to kill you.
Do it.
Well, if you can find my body...
There won't be a cleric to resurrect you, I'll make sure of it. I can't remember where I was in my dramatic speech.
Your brother went missing.
Nobody knew where he went, but he was part of the circle with Jeff. He was part of the circle with Vex. And he was one of the rebels. They were going against what was the circle, whoever they are, were wanting to do. They wanted to do things differently, and from some beings, perhaps vampires, as I look at Zaga again. And Elias killed Jeff. That's the info.
So you got a murdering brother?
Apparently so. I didn't.
Maybe he's innocent. I mean, we've met Faywin's family, and there's no one there that's weird in the slightest.
It doesn't. It's not like his character. But we've seen what the death beam did. I mean, I just don't.
Has his alignment changed?
Perhaps. I don't even know if he's. I'd assumed he wouldn't still be alive, or he would have come home. But I don't know whether I really knew him at all. I just wish I knew where he was.
So we need to find Vex. If we find Vex and she's still alive, we may find Elias.
You know that Jeff called Vex my brother's bint, so I'm wondering if maybe they were in a relationship or together in some way other than just two rebels.
Bumping hips, I believe is the technical term.
But Jeff won't give me any more information unless I get his body out. But he knows who I am, he knows my parents, he knows Elias, and he's still...
We may not need to get Jeff out for the information if we can find Vex or Elias.
But how would we do that?
Well, I mean, this item was in Vex's possession, right? The reason we went back to Allhearth to get it was to possibly use it as a connector for scrying on Vex.
Mm-hmm. And I do have a lot of items that are Elias's that he's given me over the years, but... Has Ottar met Vex? Was that
No.
Corin time?
It's Corin.
Okay. R.I.P.
At the end, when we actually killed the rest of them, that was with Ottar, wasn't it?
Don't think so.
Because we went out to the forest and then came back and then went on the full trip around.
I think, yeah, but I don't think I ever met Vex as such.
just know her as one of the people that were in that fight,
Yeah,
but didn't
yeah.
actually. Yeah, okay.
So we could. Would now that I'm wearing it, would that mean that I'm the person that owns it, or is it just someone who's owned it before would still count?
It
for
were, yeah. It would. It wouldn't be the best. It wouldn't give you the maximum on the modifier. So Scry works with like close, like a in their possession is a thing of theirs. Is something that was close to them is nothing, and so it'd probably be in the middle barrier for Scry.
It would probably be more for me though, because I don't actually know Jeff, or indeed any of the people that would be.
Yeah, if you're Scry, it goes on your knowledge of them and how much you can be explained to them. So it all depends on their. It's essentially a fight to. It gives you a boost on your check or the check that they do to stop you being able to see. Because Scry you can block if you roll high enough. So if you're like, oh, I just want to scry this random person I don't really know, they get massive modifiers, so the chance of you doing it is pretty slim. But never zero.
So we should try and scry on Vex or Elias. Wish I could scry. I know everybody so well.
I mean, it's worth a try, right? I mean, if they murdered Jeff, there's got to be a reason for it, right? If
I
they
would
were the
hope
rebels
so.
of the Circle, that suggests that they are against what the Circle is doing now. That would suggest that Vex may well be the betrayer mentioned in the letter.
So you think she's been offered as a gift to the forest?
Possibly. I say the letters from the Circle, they betrayed the Circle. I mean, maybe, I know you probably don't want to hear this, but Elias may be the one that was offered as a gift. I don't know. They both betrayed the Circle.
Well, maybe we could try and do it with Vex, and then if it doesn't work, and we could maybe try on my brother another time, perhaps tomorrow.
I mean, I can scry.
So we would have to explain as much as we knew about them.
Do you have a body part of either of them? That makes
You're
it
gonna
much
say
easier.
it does make it much easier.
No toenails, funnily enough.
I knew you were gonna
Block of
say
hair,
that. Yeah, it's
likeness or picture.
Because I think
It's
for
those
Vex,
things.
we've got this ring, a description of what we knew about her, what she looks like, whatever. Elias, I've got all of the trinkets that he's given me, because I think I had his ring on a necklace.
yeah. So it's let me just read it because I think it's the caster. Creature you choose.
And Otter picked up his picture in my mum's house.
Yeah, so it's really because it actually works out much better for me. But if you were casting Scry, you have the connection. So if you're casting Scry on to like see where your brother is, you'd get the full because you know the target very well. But if you're just explaining to Arta or Otter to do it, they don't. You explaining to who he is just going to help them target the right person because you're sending a spell out to find a person in the world. So they need to have enough to be able to like at least find that person, but you end up going the opposite way. So it's secondhand knowledge.
How would it work here? But I have scry on my earrings, or the amulet, one of the two.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the amulet. Would being what the amulet is with my patron, would Faye be able to attune to the amulet and use it?
Technically, yes, because those artifacts have been round. Whether you would be able to fight the fight off trying to murder her for the necklace back, we can always find out.
I mean, I'm game.
Because the artifacts that have been out in the world, and only one of them still remained with its original keeper. Like the fact that one of them was on a circus performer and the other one was in a museum tells you that the other people that were looking after artifacts maybe didn't do as good a job as Eliana. And they have been out floating around. And Coraline, the circus performer, was attuned to the earrings. So other people can attune to them. But yeah, you just will have a strong affinity, obviously, towards murdering and getting it back as quick as possible.
I mean, as I'm trying to fight this whole thing, I'm willing to.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'd have to roll for it, but I'd be willing to.
It would probably cause a fracture, yeah.
Into the ground.
Yeah. That sort of thing would be something you'd be fighting. You'd have to go into and do a fracture roll for and see if you can. The light can beat the dark, if the celestial can beat the kraken. And if not, you'd try and attack her. If you can probably hold off for her to cast a spell. But yeah, definitely something you can try.
I explained this to Faven.
Mm-hmm.
If that was
Essentially,
to
it's a
happen,
risk.
Mm-hmm.
and if say like I've taken them to try and attune to them, so I've got them for an hour, and then he starts kicking off because his patron's like, "What are you doing?" Could I give them back to him at that point, and then he'd stop trying to murder me because he's got them back, or would it be like a you still want to murder me even though you've got them?
Don't know.
Because I feel like with the book, he kicked off at Von Van.
Mm-hmm.
But then when he had it again, he came back to real life.
Mm-hmm. All depends on where his balance is in his backwards and forwards.
Yeah, that's true.
So we know.
But I obviously the whole thing saying like, friends help me in this battle. Would I get advantage on these rolls or not?
For what? Sorry.
When I said, when I turned to Von and said, my friends will help me along this path.
Yep.
Would I be able to get advantage on one of the rolls or not? No.
No, they're helping you is as Eliana would have understood it, is they'll put you down like a dog if you go too far. They can't actually help you. They're there just to kill you if you go too far. You're like a weapon. And if it goes well, it goes well. If it doesn't go well, the message, and maybe only Von really understands the full extent of that, but she had a chat with Von to say, if this goes bad, I'm killing your friend here right now. You're going to have to make a decision. It didn't go bad. But I think that's what it is. Them helping you is not actually helping you. It's just holding the big red button.
I am going to wild shape into a bear in preparation in case he needs to be held back.
Cool. You want to do this in the woods?
I leave this decision down to Fane whether I explain the risk of me handing over this, what it could possibly lead to. And I'll leave it in her hands whether she wants to take that risk.
Can you attune whilst walking? If
Uh,
you're walking along and I'm looking at the earrings. Well, not really.
If you
I'm
want to
just
fall on your
wondering-
face slots.
I'm wondering whether we do it when we get to this place.
yeah. I
Rather
think
than when we're
I
walking
think
there.
you're supposed to be like spending. You're not supposed. It's a bit like
It's
resting.
like downtime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we have a think about it, and then when we get to Amsterdam, we can
Amsterdam.
decide if we do it there.
I tell you.
What do you think?
Up to you.
Yeah, maybe rather than doing it in the forest.
Yeah.
Your decision.
Yeah, I think we carry on for now.
Yeah, you have to spend a short rest focused on that item while being in contact with it.
Yeah, because we've not long had a rest in the temple, have we? So
Mm-hmm.
keep progressing and then have a think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it has to be a short rest. Has to be a short rest. You can spend one short rest working out what an item does, and then you can spend another short rest attuning to it. You can't do two in one. So if you're learning about an item for the first time, you can do it that way, or you can just straight attune to it if you think it's going to be good. Sweet. Cool. So yeah, you guys carry on for the rest of the day. mulling over options to come as you arrive at the small settlement of Amberstead. You notice in amongst these lower, sparser set trees, a large central tree from quite a distance out, probably from a few miles out. As you are walking in that general direction, the closer you get to it, the closer you realise that this huge tree that has risen up, it looks almost, as you get closer, it looks a little dead. It doesn't look as vibrant and thriving as some of the other trees around. You realise that is the centrepiece to the settlement of Amberstead. It's a small, secluded village, small wooden huts built along one main pathway thoroughfare that kind of runs from the river, which is a few miles away now, up through this centre, up to this central large tree, this huge hollowed out. And as you get close and make your way in, give me, everyone just give me perception checks as you enter the village and get a scope for what you're first walking into.
17.
11.
Cool.
25.
Oh, shit.
4.
He's so perceptive.
13.
A large rock
Sorry, 14.
falls from the sky and gets Zaga. He didn't see it coming. It's crazy. Squashed by a meteor. No. The rest of you walk in. You can see it looks like a little shitty settlement for most of you walking in. I think with the 17 and definitely with the 25. We'll say with the 25 more. Vaughn, as you're walking in, you can see this isn't an elven town. You know straight away. You can see the differences. This is everything's on ground level. Nothing's up in the trees. The tree itself, you notice, whilst it's the center point, has been hollowed out. So you can see that this is not a wood elven settlement. This is something else. It looks not the same style that you'd be used to, but doesn't look very big. Doesn't look like there's a lot of hustle going on around. It's kind of quiet. You pick like maybe one or two moving around. You see there's some movement going on, definitely in that central tree. Faywin, though, with the 25, you see signs of not necessarily ruin, but like sickness. Everything just looks a little off. Every door is closed. It looks like it should be almost like, even as a small town, it'd be vibrant. It just hums. There is no one working fields. There is like no one in any of the shops or the small areas, and it seems to be there's a huge concentration of people inside the center of this tree, inside the hollowed out center that sits in the village. It looks like that's a communal hall of some sort. It looks to be the size that would be able to hold probably everybody that lives within this settlement. And as you kind of are picking your way through and just getting out, you get a few steps in front and pick up the sound of what sounds like an argument or raised voices, as some kind of disagreement or meeting or something is happening with the villagers of Amberstead inside this central tree. And I think I've just seen the time, so we will stop there before you make your way up and see what's going on. But you have arrived into the settlement, the small village of Amberstead in the border forest, and found out what the hell's been going on with Jeff many months after we wrote all the story for it. Joys. Sweet. Good God. Good job. Ta-ta. Farewell. I'll see you next week. Bye.